That's crime does not pay.
Sworn enemy of evil is actually Jim Brandon, a famous biochemist. Through his numerous scientific experiments, Brandon has perfected two inventions to aid him in his crusade against crime as the Avenger: the telepathic indicator by which he is able to pick up thought flashes, and the secret diffusion capsule, which cloaks him in the black light of invisibility. Brandon's assistant, the beautiful Fern Collier, is the only one who shares his secrets and knows that he is the man the underworld fears as the Avenger. And now, The Avenger and the Mystery of Dead Man's Rock.
Simon Revere, I do not wish to sell you any furs.
Why not, Pierre? I'd pay you a good price.
That may be, but Mr. Jenkins, the game warden, would think it very funny that Pierre, the best trapper in this territory, should declare so little furs from his traps on the other side of the border.
Why, if Jenkins says anything, all you have to do is tell him you've had a run of bad luck, or that your traps were wrong.
I will not do it, Simon. You get your furs someplace else. Pierre is not so dumb as you think. You want to buy my furs for some crooked dealings. For all I know, maybe you would bring them across the border.
Pierre, you're going too far. You don't want to sell your furs to me, don't. But I'm warning you to keep your mouth shut.
I do not talk. But Pierre, he is no fool, Simon Revere. Do not think that I...
Hey, Pierre, look. Over there near Dead Man's Rock.
A man is lying on the ground.
Come on, Pierre, something's happening.
I do not like the look of this, Simon.
Me either. Right there in front of Dead Man's Rock is where that customs man was found dead a few months ago. Why, look, it's Jenkins, the game warden.
Someone has put a knife in his back. What should we do, Simon?
I don't know.
What's going on here? What's the matter?
Oh, Mr. Spencer, it's the game warden. Someone stabbed him in the back.
Let me see. He's dead, all right. Say, Simon, what were you and Pierre doing around here?
Why, we just came in from checking the traps.
Together?
Yeah. What are you getting at, Mr. Spencer?
Just this. It'll be a good thing for Pierre if he has an alibi.
Me? You think I killed Mr. Jenkins?
I didn't say that, Pierre. Only it's pretty well known that you and the game warden haven't been hitting it off lately.
Maybe so, but I do not kill him. Honest, Mr. Spencer.
I don't see how he could have. We've been together most of the afternoon.
Well, come along to my office, both of you, and I'll call the sheriff.
The sheriff? Why, he hasn't solved that other murder that was committed here at Dead Man's Rock.
Well, let's see what he can do with this one.
What do you think of Silver Falls?
Oh, the waterfall is beautiful, Jim. But when I remember that 2 murders have been committed right here, I don't feel in the mood to enjoy the scenery.
Oh, don't worry, Fern. We won't leave here until we find out who murdered Jenkins.
The game warden was a good friend of yours, wasn't he, Jim?
Yes, he was. When I was in college, I used to come up here for the hunting almost every season. Jenkins and I tramped many a mile together.
It was right in front of that big rock where he was stabbed, wasn't it?
That's right. The old rock seems to be living up to its name lately. It's called Dead Man's Rock.
How in the world did these places around here get their names, Jim?
Well, Indian legend flourishes in this part of the country. And according to one of them, 2 Indian chiefs fought it out to the death before that rock. As to this pool at the bottom of the falls, it's both deep and treacherous. The Indians were afraid of it and called it something which the white man translated as the Devil's Pool.
Oh. To get back to the murders, Jim, have you anything at all to go on?
Well, practically nothing, Fern. Both men were stabbed in the back by a knife, and the knives might lead to some sort of clue.
What do you mean, Jim?
Well, the knives used for the murders were very unusual. They had rubber-ringed handles and were exceptionally well-balanced, similar to the ones professional knife throwers use.
Of course, those knives could have been used deliberately to mislead the police.
Well, that's a possibility, but it's the only angle we have, so we'll have to work on it.
Jim, who is this Matt Spencer the sheriff wants us to meet?
Oh, Matt Spencer is the owner of this big logging company. Practically all the men in this territory work for him.
I see.
Come on, Fern. We're to meet the sheriff down at Spencer's sawmill. I'm anxious to have a talk with Spencer and see what help he can give us. This is Spencer's office, Fern.
Gosh, Jim, this is an interesting place. I hope we have time to do a little sightseeing before we leave.
So far, that's all we've done. I wonder if the sheriff got here yet.
Come in.
Oh, hello, Sheriff.
Brandon, I want you to meet Matt Spencer.
How do you do, Mr. Spencer? This is my assistant, Miss Collier.
I'm glad to meet you both. Sit down.
Thank you.
To me that you were a good friend of Jenkins, the game warden who was killed the other day.
Why, that's right, Mr. Spencer.
Well, I'm willing to do anything I can to help you boys solve the case. What do you want to know?
Mr. Spencer, you're a busy man, so I'll come right to the point. Do you mind telling me the exact layout of your setup here?
Not at all, Brandon. I own land on both sides of the border. I have an agreement with both governments to bring my lumber in through the waterways to my sawmill. This involves some red tape, of course, and I have to keep all my books open to the customs men.
Mm-hmm. Well, wouldn't it be a much more direct route to float the lumber over the falls?
Well, we tried that, but the log's always jammed up in the pool.
I see. Well, what about the trappers on your land?
I permit a few natives to operate. They clear their furs to the local game wardens.
Uh-huh. About those two fellows who discovered the body of Jenkins. Pierre is a trapper, I know, but what is Simon Revere's position around here?
He's one of my roughnecks. I mean, one of my foremen. Been with me for years. Above suspicion, I'd say.
Uh-huh. What about Pierre? Is it true that there was bad blood between Pierre and Jenkins?
Yes, they were always having arguments about one thing or another. Isn't that right, Sheriff?
Yes, Pierre's a hothead.
Where are Pierre and Simon now, Mr. Spencer?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. I can call them in if you want a question.
Well, I'd appreciate it.
We have a whistle signal at the mill. You people make yourselves at home. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Well, thanks, Mr. Spencer.
Mr. Spencer seems like a nice man, Jim.
Yes, he is cooperative.
Yeah, I told you he would be.
So far, everyone seems to be suspicious of Pierre.
Oh, say, Sheriff, that's some moose head over that desk.
Yes, that one strayed right into the mill yard one day. Mr. Spencer got him with an air gun from the office window.
An air gun?
Yes, grabbed the first thing he could get his fingers on.
Mr. Spencer must be a good shot.
None better in these parts, Mills.
There goes the signal.
Oh, say, Sheriff, I'm going to tour around a little while we're waiting.
Well, go ahead, Brandon. Mr. Spencer won't mind.
We'll be back in half an hour.
Okay.
Come on, Vern.
Hello, Pierre. You going back to the mill, too?
Oh, yes, Simon. I heard the signal. What is wrong, I wonder?
I don't know. Did you trap many furs today, Pierre?
Good enough to suit Pierre.
You're missing a good bet by not selling me those furs. Listen, Pierre, why...
No, Simon, I will not do it. Mr. Spencer, he would not allow Pierre to trap on his land anymore if I do not declare all the furs that I trap.
We got a new game warden now. He doesn't know how many furs you usually trap. You declare half and sell me half, he'll never know the difference.
No, Simon Rivera, do not ask me anymore. I will not sell.
You're a stubborn fool, Pierre. Stubborn and stupid.
You leave Pierre be. If you do not, I will tell Mr. Spencer of your crooked scheme. He will discharge you.
You think Mr. Spencer'd believe you? You make me laugh, Pierre. Why, if I say the word to Spencer, he'll put you off his land so
if
fast.
If that should happen, I would kill you, Simon Rivera. I swear it by this dead man's rock before which two men have already died.
Your hot-headed threats don't frighten me, Pierre. I have more...
What is it?
Pierre! You knifed me, you...
No, I did not, Simon. No, Simon, I did... Mon Dieu. He's dead.
What's going on here?
It is Simon Riviere. Somebody has killed him.
Jim, he's been knifed in the back.
Just like the others.
I do not know how it happened.
Who are you?
Pierre.
You'll have to come along and tell your story to the sheriff.
No, I am innocent.
We'll see about that.
No, I did not do it. I swear I did not do it. Pierre was under me.
Come back here, Pierre. If you're innocent, you'll be cleared.
He's making for the woods. Aren't you going after him, Jim?
It's no use, Fern. He knows the woods better than I do. Don't worry. If he's guilty, we'll smoke him out.
Oh, Pierre must be guilty, Jim. No one else was here.
No. This knife is exactly the same as the others.
That's not much help.
No. But there's another clue here.
What, Jim? I don't see anything.
Look closely, Fern. This knife was either wielded by a very powerful man or was thrown with great force from a distance.
But Pierre is a rather slight man, Jim.
Exactly.
Where does that leave us?
With an open mind, at least.
You don't think Pierre is guilty, then?
No, I didn't say any such thing, Fern. But right now, I'm going to work on the motive for these three murders. And until I find that, everyone is under suspicion.
What do we do first, Jim?
You go back to the mill and ask Mr. Spencer to call the sheriff. Tell Mr. Spencer I went into the woods looking for Pierre. And you stay with the sheriff until I get back.
Where are you going, Jim?
Over the border, Fern. There are a few inquiries I've got to make as the Avenger. And now, back to the Avenger and the mystery of Dead Man's Rock.
Well, Jack, this log is all hollowed out and ready to be packed. Here, come on, help me carry it over to the pile.
All right, George. Hey, the boss should be getting here with the stuff soon.
Yeah, he said these logs were to be sent down the river with the regular lumber shipment first thing in the morning. Yes, sir, this has been a mighty good season for the boss.
Yeah, and it's about time he started cutting us in on some of that big dough. So far, we've been taking all the chances and been getting next to nothing for our trouble.
What was that noise?
I don't know. We better be careful what we say, George. Maybe somebody's snooping around here.
It's too late for caution now. You've already been overheard.
Who's that? Where did that voice come from?
From the Avenger, George.
The Avenger? Let's run for it, Jack.
Stay where you are. You haven't a chance to get away.
What do you want from us?
First, I want to know who you work for. Who this boss is you were talking about.
We can't tell you that.
You'll tell me now, or you'll be under arrest within an hour.
I'm going to tell him, Jack. We got to look out for ourselves now.
You're right. Go ahead.
Speak up, then.
Well, it's Simon Revere. He's our boss.
Exactly what did Simon hire you to do?
He delivered furs to us, and we packed them in these logs and sent them down the river to the States. And then Simon took care of things at the other end.
Where did Simon get the furs?
He bought them direct from trappers who were willing to play ball with him.
Who did Simon work for?
Well, we don't know. You'll have to ask him.
It's too late for that. Simon got a knife in his back down at Dead Man's Rock this afternoon.
Huh? Simon is dead?
Yes. And this little fur smuggling racket is ended.
Well, who murdered Simon?
The murderer will be in the hands of the law before nightfall. Until then, carry on here as though you know nothing.
All right, we'll do like you say, Avenger.
Remember, if you try to get away, it will go hard with you, because the Avenger will hunt you down and bring you to justice.
Sheriff,
Do all those traps we passed belong to Pierre?
Yes, Brandon. Pierre makes a good living as a trapper.
Do you mean to say a trapper has to walk this distance every day?
Yes, Fern. And Pierre is still visiting each one of his traps, even if he isn't hiding.
A man guilty of murder would hardly stick to his job like that, would he, Jim?
A criminal almost never does what he's expected to, Fern.
Brandon, you'll find that Pierre is much smarter than you give him credit for. I feel much safer out here if you'd let me bring my gun along.
We had to come unarmed, Sheriff.
You city detectives have some mighty peculiar notions about solving a crime. Up here in the woods, a gun speaks louder than a clue any day.
Well, Sheriff, you promised to play along with me on this little plan of mine. If it should backfire, then we'll handle things your way. Okay?
Well, how can you expect me to put any stock in that plan of yours? Won't even tell me who your suspect is. If I had my way, I'd arrest Pierre and ask questions later.
You'll need evidence, Sheriff. We've got to get that before you start making arrests.
Say, here's one of Pierre's traps.
Yes. It's just been sprung and hasn't been reset.
Hey, what's somebody shooting at us?
Pierre! Stop shooting, Pierre! It's the sheriff.
He's coming over here, Jim.
You stay away from my traps!
Take it easy, Pierre. We're not robbing your traps.
No. We came out here to have a talk with you, Pierre. I did not kill Simon. Now we're willing to give you a chance to prove that if you can. You take Pierre for the fool. You have come to arrest me. But I will shoot you first. Pierre! Listen to me. We'll let you keep your gun if you'll come back to Silver Falls and do as we say.
And if you don't, I'll organize a posse.
Sheriff! Pierre will come peacefully. Now listen carefully, Pierre. All we want you to do is come along with us to Silver Falls.
Oh, it's you, Brandon. Why, Miss Collier, you look all tired out.
I am, Mr. Spencer. We must have walked 10 miles.
Well, Brandon, have any luck? Did you find Pierre?
Yes, we found him, Mr. Spencer.
Good. And the case is just about closed. And believe me, I am glad of it, Brandon. All this excitement has slowed up production at the mill.
I hate to disappoint you, but the case isn't quite solved yet.
Why, I thought you said you'd got Pierre.
Yes, but Pierre still claims he's innocent. And he says he can prove it.
How?
He says he knows the motive for all 3 murders.
That sounds more like he's guilty than innocent.
That's right. Except that he claims Simon Revere gave him some valuable information before he died.
Information? What kind?
I don't know. Pierre wouldn't tell me, but he's willing to reveal that information to the sheriff to save his own skin. He may be lying, but I'm going to give him a chance to talk with the sheriff.
For sure, that's only fair.
May I use your phone, Mr. Spencer? I'll arrange for the meeting.
Why, of course, Brandon. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello. Hello, operator. Give me the sheriff's office, please. Hello? Hello, Sheriff? Jim Brandon speaking. Yeah. Oh, listen, Sheriff. I found Pierre. No, I didn't bring him in. He wants to talk to you alone. Says he can break the case wide open. What's that? He'll meet you unarmed in front of Dead Man's Rock in half an hour. That's right. I'll wait here at the mill for you. Good luck, Sheriff. See you later.
Jim, while we're waiting, why don't you show me around the sawmill? That is, if Mr. Spencer doesn't mind.
No, of course not. Go right ahead. I'd go with you, but I have a lot of important work to do.
Gosh, Jim, the falls look high when you're standing up here looking down over them.
Now be careful, Fern. Don't get too close to the edge.
Oh, I won't. Jim, I certainly hope your little plan works out.
It will, Fern. This was the only method of catching the killer at the scene of the crime, with the evidence on him.
But what's to prevent him from trying to make a getaway instead of coming here?
The sheriff's men are taking care of that. Every thoroughfare is guarded. The sheriff's orders are not to let anyone pass until further word from him. And between you and me, that means until after we've captured the killer.
Well, it sounds all right.
Now, Fern, you stand over there on the side and keep a close watch on Dead Man's Rock.
Yes, Jim.
When Pierre arrives and is directly in front of the rock, give me the signal, and I'll open this chain and release all these logs.
Jim, how in the world did you get all those logs up here?
Well, now, we diverted them from the river and let them pile up here behind the chain.
Oh. Say, isn't it about time for Pierre to arrive?
Huh? Well, yes, he should be coming now.
Oh, I'm getting worried, Jim. Maybe something's gone wrong.
Now, don't get panicky on me, Fern. Keep your eyes on that rock.
Right, Jim. There he is. There's Pierre. He's coming around the bend in the trail. Get set, Jim.
Everything's ready here.
He's almost there. Let them go, Jim!
Okay, Sheriff. Have your men surround the falls.
Go ahead, man. You know what to do. Shoot grenade,
Come on, Fern. Down this path, quick.
The criminal certainly won't have a chance to escape this time. The sheriff must have at least 50 men down there.
What do we do now, Brandon?
We'll give them a chance to come out, Sheriff.
Okay. Hey, you, under the falls. You're completely surrounded. Come on out.
You better come out. We'll give you just 10 seconds. If you aren't out by that time, 50 guns will fire into the falls.
Ready to fire, man.
All right. Light him up.
He's coming out.
Wait. That's Mr. Spencer.
Yes, there's your murderer, Sheriff.
Where? Go get him, boy.
And you'll find the knife he meant for Pierre, embedded in one of those logs we released over the falls. They're all jammed up in the pool there. Take it easy, Sheriff. The rest of your evidence is still behind the falls. I'll get it for you.
Jim's coming from behind the waterfall now, Sheriff.
What's that he's carrying?
Hey, it looks like a gun to me.
I must be crazy. These murders weren't committed with a gun.
Stand back, boys. Give him a chance to get through.
Well, Sheriff, here's your murder weapon.
That's no evidence, Brandon. That gun can't be the murder weapon. These men weren't shot. They were knifed.
All that city detectives, Club Loco.
Be quiet a minute.
Let him talk, boys. Okay, Brandon. You better start explaining.
Sheriff, this air gun shoots knives as well as bullets.
How's that again? Why, the muzzle of this gun has a .32 caliber bore. It's lined.
That's right. But it has a screw cap on the front that's removable. Yeah. See?
So what?
Now, look. This cap removes the inner lining and leaves a smooth bore.
That's a new one on me, Brandon. Hey, how did it work?
On a very simple principle, Sheriff. The knives were especially well balanced. The type used by professional knife throwers. That balance enabled them to take the air pressure. Those rubber rings on the handles gave them sufficient body to fill the enlarged muzzle so the air blast could project them over the required distance.
Well, that'd be golden.
Now, Sheriff, get these people out of the way and I'll demonstrate.
Okay, Brandon. Hey, say, this'll rate you a hunting permit for life in this county.
Well, thanks, Sheriff.
Jim, when you were making plans to trap Spencer, why wouldn't you tell the sheriff who your suspect was?
Fern, I knew he wouldn't believe me without evidence, and I needed the sheriff's cooperation to get that.
When did you first suspect Spencer, Jim?
From our first meeting. He used the term roughneck in referring to one of his men. That's circus lingo, and furnished a clue that tied up with the type of knife used for the murders.
I still don't see how you figured out but the air gun angle.
Well, now, Dead Man's Rock is situated on a point of land that juts out into Devil's Pool. The trail on either side of the rock shoots off at a sharp angle along the edge of the water. It would have been impossible for anyone on the trail to have thrown the knives.
So the only other place they could have come from was the waterfall.
Exactly. But the waterfall was too far away for anyone to throw the knives. So I began to work on the idea that they may have been shot from behind the falls with an air gun.
Then when you found that the motive was first smuggling, everything fitted into place.
That's right. Spencer killed off the first two men because they were beginning to suspect him, and Simon because he knew too much.
That screen of logs we let loose over the falls caught the knife meant for Pierre.
Yes, and that was sufficient evidence, even for the sheriff.
We'll have to tell Inspector White about that, Sheriff Jim.
Sure will, Fern. We can truthfully tell the inspector that he's brilliant in comparison.
All characters, names, places, and plots used in the Avenger program are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
This is a thought. A thought. A thought. Remember, listen for another adventure on
The Avenger.
As we near Krypton, we see high walls and gleaming turrets. We approach the magnificent Temple of Wisdom. And there in a great hall, Jor-El, Krypton's foremost man of science, is about to address a meeting of the planet's governing council.
Attention! Attention, gentlemen! Jor-El speaks. Members of the council, I have completed my solar calculations. And much as I dread uttering these words, I have come to the conclusion Krypton is doomed.
Did I hear him right?
Gentlemen, hear him out. These internal quakes we've been experiencing, these volcanic eruptions, tidal waves, gas escaping from giant craters, all point to only one thing, gentlemen. Krypton is utterly and finally doomed.
Why, the man is mad. He's absolutely...
One moment, gentlemen. One moment. There is no cause for anxiety. I am certain Jor-El has made a mistake. True, we have had a few minor quakes and eruptions, but nothing very serious. There must be some error in your calculations, Jor-El. No, there is no error, Roseanne. I only wish there were. The sun is gradually drawing Krypton closer to it. Within a month, possibly only a week, the gravitational pull will be so tremendous that Krypton will not be able to weather the strain. And then our planet will explode like a giant bubble, destroying every living thing on it. Gentlemen, assuming for the moment, Jor-El, that what you say is true, how are we to avoid it? What can we do to stop it? There is only one way. As you all know, I have been working on a spaceship designed for interplanetary travel. With time and united effort, we might transport the entire population of Krypton to another world. Impossible. Where would we go? To the Earth. My studies tell me the atmosphere of the Earth is very nearly the same as our own. You have been working too hard, Jor-El. You need a rest. Believe me, we have the utmost respect for your knowledge and integrity. But this is carrying it too far. Planets as large as Krypton do not explode, Jor-El. Wait! Do you hear that, gentlemen? It's the forewarning of doom. Every moment is precious now. Quakes like that are sounding the death knell of Krypton. It will happen, gentlemen, and happen soon. When the last great eruption comes... When it comes, Jor-El, it shall find all of us ready. If Krypton is to die, we shall die with it. The parting would be much too severe. Very well. Laugh if you like, Roseanne, and you members of the council. I have no time to laugh. My wife, Lara, and my infant son are dear to me. It is not my wish to stand by and see them destroyed. Laugh, all of you. But a time will come, and that time is perhaps very close at hand, when you will wish you had heeded the words of Jor-El. Now you think me a fool, but remember what I have said, gentlemen. When Krypton is shattered into 1,000 million stars, when the glorious civilization we have built is no more, when you and your families are swept from the face of Krypton like dust. Order, gentlemen. Order. You have heard Jor-El speak. Is it your wish that we devote time and money to the building of spaceships or the transportation of Krypton's population to another planet? No! I'm sorry, Jor-El. The Council has spoken.
Yes, and signed the death warrants of every living thing on Krypton. Well, I've done my best to convince you. Now all that remains for me is to proceed with my own means of salvation, my own spaceship, to save the lives of those near and dear to me. As for the rest of you, may the gods have mercy on your souls.
Jor-El is mad. He is absolutely mad.
Lara, I didn't see you.
I came out to take the air on the terrace. It's been terribly hot all day. Is that because we're being drawn to the sun, Jor-El?
Yes.
What did the council have to say about that?
I didn't mention it.
Is the model of your spaceship almost finished?
Yes, I just drove the last rivet. How does it look?
Splendid. But will it work?
That remains to be seen. If it does work, I shall immediately begin construction of another just like it, only much larger. One big enough to carry all three of us to another world.
Jor-El, when will that be? Every moment that we spend waiting and wondering...
Yes, I know, Lara. It's been hard on all of us, and particularly hard on you. How is the boy?
Sleeping, Jor-El. That quake this afternoon frightened him, but he's all right now. Can't you come in and look at him? You scarcely see him these days, what with working all hours on the spaceship model.
It can't be helped, dear. I'm racing against time. Right now, I'm anxious to know whether the model will behave as I hope.
How does it operate?
Very simply. When all is ready, I throw this switch. That closes the circuit, and electric energy builds up pressure in the atomic generators. Then, at the final moment, the pressure forces the ship from its carrier and speeds it on its way.
But where does it go?
Wherever it's pointed. This one I'm directing to the planet Earth.
Earth? What is that, Jor-El?
A planet smaller than our own, situated on the other side of the sun. It's inhabited by a race of people similar to ourselves.
Like ourselves?
Well, only partly, of course, my dear. They're about the same size, but nowhere nearly as developed. Very weak and helpless, and with all their faculties extremely limited.
How do you mean?
It's something like this. You know how far you step when you want to go somewhere?
Practically as far as I want. Why, one step takes me to Brata's house near the fountain.
Exactly. Well, down where I'm sending this spaceship, it's quite different. An Earthman steps only 3 feet at a time at most, and everything else is in proportion.
And that's where we're going? Oh, how dreadful.
My dear, which would you rather do? Go to Earth and live, or stay on Krypton and die?
I'll do anything you say, Jor-El, anything. It doesn't matter to me whether we live or die as long as we're together. It's only the boy I worry about.
Yes, I know. Oh, Lara, darling, don't worry. He'll be saved.
When are you testing the spaceship model?
In the morning. Just as dawn breaks, I'll send it on its way, watching its flight through a high-powered telescope to see whether it lands safely on Earth.
Is Earth the only planet place we can go to, Jor-El?
We couldn't breathe on any other planet but the Earth. It happens to have an atmosphere similar to Krypton's.
I suppose you know best, Jor-El. Are you coming in? It seems to have gotten oppressively hot.
Yes, it has. I wonder. Lara, do you hear that?
Yes, Jor-El. What is it?
Subterranean explosions. Do you feel the ground trembling?
Yes, I do. Jor-El, do you think...
Lara, I'm afraid it's come. Where is the boy, Kal-El?
What do you mean?
Get him quickly. This is the end.
Jor-El, what can we do?
Nothing. I'm not ready. Oh, what a fool I've been to delay.
It isn't your fault, Jor-El. You did all you could.
If only this model were large enough, we could take a chance.
Jor-El, would it carry one of us safely to Earth?
Oh, I think so, but... Lara, where are you going? Stay here with me.
I'm getting Kal-El. If one of us can be saved, Jor-El, it should be the boy.
No, Lara, come back. If one must go, it should be you. Lara, I said come back. Come back.
Here he is, Jor-El, still asleep. Goodbye, Kal-El.
Please, Lara.
No, Jor-El, listen to me. We both stay here. Kal-El goes in the spaceship. If there is a chance, Jor-El, one little chance, I want it for my son.
Maybe you're right, Lara.
Jor-El, look. The sky. It's fiery red. The mountains. Look, the mountains are falling in. Jor-El, what's happening?
The end of Krypton, Lara. Just as I foretold. This is the last great quake.
Jor-El, Listen! Explosions!
Here, quick, give me the boy.
Kal-El! What are you doing, Jarell?
Opening the door, putting him inside.
Jarell! The house, it's swaying! It's breaking apart! Look, Jarell!
There, he's safe inside. Now for the switch. Stand back, Lara.
Oh, Jarell, will he reach the earth?
Only the gods know. But there's a chance. The only chance. Stand back now, Lara. I'm going to throw the switch.
Jarell, it's getting dark. I can't see. What happened?
Fire. Smoke from the center of the planet. Not much time now.
Hold me, Jarell. Has the spaceship gone?
No, not yet. Waiting for pressure. We may have been too late. If it doesn't work up soon... Wait! Lara! It's off! It's on its way!
Jarell! Where are you?
Here, beside you, Lara. Listen, can you hear me? Our boy, Kal-El. Our son, Lara. He's on his way. On his way to Earth.
Kal-El! Kal-El!
So the tiny rocket ship roars into the uncharted heavens as the mighty planet of Krypton explodes into millions of glowing fragments, glittering stars to remain forever in the night sky. Jor-El and Lara, devoted parents of the tiny boy, perish in the giant quake that destroys Krypton. But what of the rocket ship? Does it reach the Earth? Does it find its mark in all the far-flung darkness of space? Remember, don't miss the next installment of Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a giant bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
And now, Superman, eighth wonder of the modern world, visitor from a distant planet whose strength knows no limits, whose endurance is beyond anything humanity has ever known. We have seen how the child of Jor-El and Lara was placed in the rocket ship and sent on his way to Earth. During the long journey of the rocket ship to the Earth, the child has become a man. The rocket landed in a desert. Superman stepped forth full grown to explore this strange new world in which he found himself. Today, as our story continues, we find him hovering with his curious power above a quiet highway in Indiana. A trolley car is just pulling up the hill, and as Superman wheels and turns in curious flight, unseen below, a man and a boy come out of the shed that serves as waiting room.
Morning, Professor.
Good morning.
Going into town?
Yes, that's right, John. Taking Jimmy to the fair.
That is a great show, all right. Well, I reckon you're my only passengers. Make yourselves at home. I'm going to get me a drink of water.
All right.
Why, Dad, we've got the trolley all to ourselves.
Yes, regular private car.
Where'd the motorman go?
And just over to the spring for a drink. It's a mighty hot day.
You'd better hurry or we'll be late.
We can't start without the motorman.
But we are starting. Look, Dad. The doors have closed. We're moving.
Yes, what happened?
Dad, I want to get out.
The brakes. Something happened to the brakes.
Let's get out, quick. Open the doors.
They're jammed. They're tight shut.
Dad, we're going faster and faster. We're going downhill. Dad, what are we going to do?
Jimmy, come here.
The window. Out the window, Dad. Get it open. Smash it.
Oh, wait.
Jump, Dad. Jump.
No. It's too late. Going too fast.
We've got to, Dad. Look, there ahead. There's a tree.
Jimmy.
A tree. A tree's falling right in the tracks.
Look, there in the sky. It's a man.
Why, he's flying.
It can't be. It's not possible.
Dad, he's coming straight at us. He's swooping down. He's tearing off the roof. Dad!
Quick! Grab hold of me.
No, put me down. Let me go.
Stop it.
One under each arm. Out through the top. Hold on. We're going to crash. Well, we just got out of that in time. The trolley car's a wreck. Smashed into a million pieces.
Where are you going? What are you doing to us?
What's happening? Put us down.
Don't be frightened. You're all right. I had to get you out of there in a hurry. Pulling off that roof was the only way. Now we're going down again. Down. There you are. Safe and sound in a field.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Quite all right, Professor.
Getting you and the boy out of that car was nothing.
I can't believe it.
Who are you, anyway? Where do you come from?
I have no name. I come from a world that no longer exists. Here in this world of yours, men would call me a Superman.
It's a dream. A wild, impossible dream.
But, Dad, it happened. We saw it. He flew down, took us under his arms.
And out of the car, that's all. Nothing so strange about that.
And you saved our lives, Jimmy's and mine. I don't understand even now, but I'm grateful.
Are you, Professor?
Well, do you doubt it?
Would you do something to prove it?
Would we? Anything at all.
Then make me a promise. Promise that you'll say nothing at all about what's happened.
What? Don't you want people to know?
Not just yet. I want no one to know, except those I help. Will you promise?
Well, if you wish.
I do, believe me.
Then you have our word. Is that all?
No. You've given me your promise. Now I want your advice.
You want advice from us?
You know this world. I'm a stranger. You know the people in it. And I have still to find them out.
You want to meet men, is that it?
Not meet them, Professor. Observe them. Study them. See them at their best and their worst. Know which to help and when help is needed. If you can tell me that...
Dad, can we help him?
Well, I think so, Jimmy, if that's what he wants.
It would mean a great deal to me.
Well, my friend, if we can call you that.
I hope we can.
My first friends on this earth.
To mingle with people, to see men at the highest and the lowest, if that's what you want. Well, now let me think. Now, how about a newspaper, a great metropolitan daily?
A newspaper?
Well, yes, join their staff. Be a reporter.
Oh, but you can't do it in those clothes. Not that blue costume with the cloak and shield on your breast. Gee, you couldn't.
Jimmy, these are the cloak and the shield of Superman. If I become as other men, I shall dress as other men.
Well, you'll have to assume some kind of a name. What do they call you?
I have no name.
Well, how about Clark Kent? That sounds all right.
Yes, why not? It's usual enough. Won't attract attention.
Clark Kent. Clark Kent. Yes. And about joining a newspaper. That should give me an opportunity to learn the troubles of men, to know whom to help, and when help is needed. I'll do it. Many thanks to both of you for your advice.
Well, no thanks are necessary. If there were only something more...
Just this. Remember your promise. Never to reveal my identity. And now, goodbye. I've stayed too long, and I'm off. Goodbye. 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 They're right. Superman must become a reporter. A reporter by the name of Clark Kent. Clark Kent. I'll do it.
Steady, roll. White.
Listen, Chief. You better get somebody in that railroad story right away.
Anything break?
Looks bad. I don't know where your dope came from, but it sure was right.
Where are you now?
At the yards out of town. If I were you, I'd have somebody watch the man they call the Wolf.
The Wolf?
That's what I do, Chief. Watch him. Trail him. Follow him every minute. He's at the bottom of this as sure as you're born. Oh, hey, I gotta beat it. Someone's coming. So...
Excuse me, Mr. White. That young man's still waiting.
What young man? Oh, the one who wants a job? Well, let him wait. Who have we got that's free?
McCann's on the coast. Grayson's down in Virginia. Most of the day men are full up.
I knew it. Confound it's always the way. Something breaks and nobody to handle it.
What is it, Mr. White?
Railroads. Sabotage. I didn't believe it, but there may be something in it after all. If there is...
Yes, sir?
If there is, Miss Smith, it'll be the biggest story since Lindbergh. And me short-handed. Oh, what's the use?
Yes, sir. About that man.
Oh, send him in. Send him in.
Yes, sir. Come in, Mr. Kent. Mr. White will see you now.
Thank you.
You want to see me? Close that door.
Yes, sir. My name is Kent. Clark Kent.
What can I do for you, Mr. Kent?
Well, Mr. White, you can give me work, I hope.
Work? On the paper?
Yes, sir. I'd like to be a reporter.
Oh, you'd like to be a reporter. What papers have you worked on?
Well, none, sir, but
Oh, you haven't. But you think you'd be a whiz. Well, I'm afraid I can't use you, Kent.
You mean you haven't any openings?
Not for greenhorns. I'm sorry if I'm blunt.
But, Mr. White, even if I am a greenhorn, suppose I brought you a good story.
And where would you get it? I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me, Mr. Kent.
A really good story?
Such as?
Such as the complete inside on the man called the Wolf on the Western Railroads.
What's that?
You heard me. Do you want that story?
Do I want it? Well, I should say I do. But look here.
I think I could get it for you, Mr. White.
What do you know about the Wolf?
A little bit.
Where did you ever hear his name?
In connection with railroads, Mr. White.
Oh, stop beating around the bush. I only heard the beginning of that myself yesterday morning. Not a paper in the country's carried a line, and yet...
And yet I come in here and talk about it. I think I could do something with it, Mr. White.
Now, look here, Kent. Mysterious secret messages have threatened to tie up every railroad in the country, beginning with the Western. For a while, the road paid no attention. And then the cracked flyer on the P&R went off a bridge.
Yes, I read about that.
Yeah, naturally. But you didn't read about the warnings because they weren't printed.
Weren't printed?
No, and they won't be. Not until we've checked all the angles. And then this man, the Wolf.
Oh, yes, the Wolf.
Now, where do you come in? How did you get to know the Wolf? Excuse me. Say your own, White.
My friend, tomorrow night, the Silver Clipper leaves Denver for the west. It will not arrive in Salt Lake City.
Hey, what's that? Who's this?
I have been called the Wolf. Goodbye.
Hey, come back here. Come back here. Wait.
Yes, Mr. White?
Where did that call come from?
I'm sorry, sir. The party's been disconnected.
Ah, nuts.
Beg your pardon, sir, but if that call did come from the Wolf, I should be inclined to believe it.
Huh? How do you know who that was?
If I were you, I'd warn the officials in charge of the Silver Clipper.
Look here. You couldn't hear that phone. What is this? How do you know who called me?
As I was saying, Mr. White, suppose I brought you a good story. The story of the Silver Clipper and the Wolf.
I take chances, Kent. I'm going to take a chance on you.
Thank you, Mr. White.
It's 2,000 miles. You'll have to hop a plane.
I'll get there, Mr. White, in spite of the weather.
Lord, I hadn't noticed the weather. Well, get to the airport anyway.
You rang, Mr. White?
Miss Smith, this is Clark Kent, temporarily attached to our staff. You'll note I said temporarily.
Yes, sir.
Kent leaves for the west by the first plane. Get him tickets and a $200 advance.
Mr. White, all planes are grounded.
Well, that's all right, sir. I'll get there.
Take him outside. Show him what he needs to know.
Mr. White, I'd like to thank you.
Oh, let it go, Kent. Let it go. You get a story and you get a job. You're either clairvoyant or the luckiest guesser alive. Either way, I can use you. But if you miss out, well...
This way, Mr. Kent.
Thank you, Miss Smith. Nice of you to show me around.
Pretty lucky, I'll say. 100 good newspaper men walking the streets, and you stepped right into a job.
I say, I am lucky.
You wait in here. It's the anteroom of the cashier's office.
Well, I really don't need an advance.
Oh, playboy in disguise, eh? Wait here.
Oh, what a rotten night.
Don't fall out that window. It's 20 stories down.
Beautiful view, even in the fog.
You wait right here till I get your money. Then I'll introduce you to a few real newspaper men.
Planes grounded. 2,000 miles to go. Sorry, Miss Smith. I'm afraid I can't wait. Clark Kent may need a plane, but Superman doesn't. Up with a window. And out.
Kent, I hope I didn't keep you waiting too...
Miss Smith! Miss Smith!
Oh, what's wrong?
That man! Did he go out, that Clark Kent?
Nobody went through the city room.
He didn't go out. Well, I left him right here, the window. Oh, the open window. He went through it, and it's 20 stories down.
He went out through the window?
Out the open window, 20 stories above the ground. In the wink of an eye, Clark Kent, cub reporter for the Daily Planet, becomes Superman, eagle of the sky, winging his way west over city and plain, river and mountain, through the storm-swept night. But will he be in time? Can he checkmate the strange figure called the Wolf, discover the plot, save the Silver Clipper, roaring toward Denver at 90 miles an hour? And remember, don't miss the next installment of Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
And now, Superman. Amazing figure from another world with powers and abilities never before realized by mortal men. Given a chance to make good by Perry White, city editor of the Daily Planet, young Clark Kent, who was really Superman, leaped out a window 20 stories above the ground and vanished in a swirl of fog. Secret warnings had come to the newspaper of a vague and sinister plot against the railroads of the West. And mild-mannered Clark Kent had received orders to go west at once and investigate. Already danger is forming in the path of the Silver Clipper, cracked train of the West Coast Railroad, roaring over the prairie on her way to Denver and Salt Lake. All planes were grounded by fog and sleet. But today, as our story continues, a strange figure hurtles through space. Red cape streaming in the whistling wind. Superman speeds to his assignment.
24 hours to go. The Silver Clipper leaves Denver tomorrow night on her way to Salt Lake City. And that man who calls himself the Wolf, have to find out who he is, too. Said the train would never get there. We'll see, Wolf. We'll see. If you're up to something, look out. Because the other side has Superman.
And as Superman wings his way westward, following the faint steel ribbon of the railway line below him, two men sit waiting in a tiny shack in the Colorado foothills. One of them is Keno Carter, gunman, gambler, bad man of the Southwest. Keno waits nervously, waits for some word from the figure across the table, the dark, shadowy figure who calls himself the Wolf.
Hey, listen, boss. Will you please tell me what we're doing out here now? The Silver Clipper ain't due till tomorrow. Don't even leave Denver till tomorrow afternoon.
Very true, Keno. But the Western Limited is due in exactly 10 minutes.
Well, what are you going to do with the Limited?
I warned various people and newspapers that something would happen to the Silver Clipper tomorrow night. As it will. So far, they've chosen to ignore me. Very well. When they see what overtakes the Limited in slightly less than 10 minutes, they will pay more attention to me when I call again.
Now listen, boss. What is this, a game? What are you trying to do?
Why ask me, Keno? Do I know any more than you? We're told to paralyze the railroads. That's all. But it's enough. We obey orders.
Well, whose orders? Where did they come from?
Yours come from me. And you know what happens, Keno, if you disregard them. Shall I tell you again?
No, never mind.
Very well. Come outside. Not long to wait now. If the Limited is on time, we should begin to hear her.
I don't hear nothing.
She is on time. Have you done what I told you?
Yeah, I done it. But I don't see...
You will see, Keno, very shortly indeed.
Hey, what are you trying to do? Scare him to death?
Listen now to what I tell you.
I'm listening.
That train will be going over that trestle down there in another 7 or 8 minutes.
So what?
At the end of the trestle, as you can see, Keno, the track turns and runs along the cliff on the mountainside.
Yeah, I see.
The mountains to one side, very steep and abrupt, then the track, then the canyon, 300 feet deep.
Hey, listen. You going to throw him down the canyon? The whole 10 cars?
As I said before, all you have to do is obey orders.
All right. What do I do?
You wait till the train has crossed the trestle, then you fire the charge.
Right away?
Count 10, if you like.
All right. And then what?
Then events will take their natural course. After which you will come back and join me in the cabin.
Hey, she's coming. And coming fast.
Moving, my friend. Let her cross the trestle. Then count 10.
Good. Still following the railway. Ought to be getting fairly close to Denver. Looks like a long trestle up ahead. I'd get aboard that train if it weren't so slow. I'll drop down a bit and look it over. Might do it anyway. Ride in as Clark Kent. What's that man on the side of the mountain doing? Looks like he's got a charging battery for dynamite blasting. Something queer about that. Seems to be waiting. He's waiting for the train. Gonna blast it right off the tracks. This looks like some of your dirty work, Wolf. Well, here's where Superman takes a hand. I've got to stop that train. I'll get aboard and they'll stop to put me off because I have no ticket. But it's got to be fast. 90 miles an hour. Good speed for a train, but it can't leave Superman behind. There's the observation platform. What luck. Nobody on it. Now then. Grab the platform rail. There. Leap on board. Now to join the passengers is Clark Kent, cub reporter for the Daily Planet. Off with the cape, into ordinary clothes, and inside.
Tickets, please. All tickets. Tickets first and Pueblo. All tickets, please. Tickets, please. May I have your ticket, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, conductor, but I've lost it.
No, you've lost it. And I'm afraid that I'll have to ask you to pay the fare.
Now, you know, I'm terribly sorry, but I seem to have lost my money, too.
I thought so. You've been riding the blinds and figured you'd sneak in here where it's warm. Well, we know how to deal with bums like you.
Yes, that's right, conductor. Stop the train and put me off. I don't mind.
Huh? Say, who are you?
Clark Kent, reporter for the Daily Planet. But that's all right. I ought to be more careful. Teach me a good lesson.
Well, I guess I'll take a chance. If you're really a reporter, you're liable to write up a story about getting kicked off our train. You can stay where you are.
But look here.
I'll take care of you when we get to town. And if you're not a reporter...
No good. I overplayed it. Great Scott, I've got to do something, and quick, too. We're on the trestle. Where's that emergency cord?
Hey, what's going on here? Who pulled that cord?
I did, conductor. I'm terribly sorry.
Sorry? Well, you better be sorry. Here, come back here. Come back here.
I can't stay, conductor. My conscience bothers me. I'll just jump off right where we are on the trestle.
You
here.
come back here.
No, I'll be all right. Don't worry about me.
No, I got you. No, you can't get away this time. Now, you stay right here.
I want to get off.
Well, you ain't getting off. You'll go to jail for this. You come back up them steps.
Look, up the mountain, conductor. That flash.
Hey, what the... What's going on up there?
It was a blast. An explosion up the mountain. Great Scott, conductor, look what's coming.
Oh, Lord save us, it's a rock slide. Tons of rock coming down on the track.
Listen to it.
And right ahead of us, too. Took the tracks out like two pieces of string. Oh, Lord. And now they're all coming out to find out what happened. It's all right. It's all right, ladies and gentlemen. No danger. Just a rock slide up ahead. That's all. There may be a slight delay.
Delay? You don't think you can dig through that, do you?
Now get back in the train, please. Get back. It's dangerous out here. Back on board, please. We may be held up a little while. Back on board, everybody, please. We'll be pulling out directly.
Now then, conductor, I think you owe me a vote of thanks.
Oh, you do you? Well, what makes you think that?
Well, use your eyes, man. Where would you be now if I hadn't stopped the train?
Huh? Well, now, there may be something in what you say. I'm not denying if we'd been going our regular speed, we'd have got that rock slide right about the third car.
I'll say you would. You'd have been down in that canyon, too. And it's 300 feet deep. As a matter of fact, that's where you were intended to be.
Oh, is it? Well, what makes you think so?
Goodbye, conductor. I'll see you later.
Hey, you come back here. Catch that guy. Joe, Mike, don't let him get away from the dark. Where'd he go? Catch him. Catch him there. Get a hold of the boy.
20 tons of rock. Why, that's nothing. Hardly a workout. Anything to put a crimp in the Wolf's plans. And Clark Kent, reporter, simply must be in Denver by morning. First of all, down into the canyon for the missing rails. There they are. Now, back to the roadbed. I never swept up a rock slide before, but there's nothing like trying. Here we go. Why, it's nothing. I'll have the line clear before that conductor knows I've gone. The Limited will be in Denver in an hour.
Well, Kino, all done? What happened?
No, nothing happened.
Nothing happened. What do you mean?
One of them things, boss. The train stopped on the trestle.
Stopped? That train never stops.
Well, it stopped this time, and a guy got out, and I didn't know, so I shot the stuff.
Yes, I heard it.
Well, didn't you come out to look?
I thought I'd better stay hidden.
Well, there was a rock slide, and that's all. The train wasn't scratched. The line's blocked, but the train ain't hurt.
This man who got out, who was he?
After the slide, I snuck down and joined the mob, see? I heard him talking about a newspaper guy and looking for him. Name of Clark Kent.
Kent? I don't know him.
Well, you better, because he knows us.
What's that?
I don't know. All I can tell you is they're looking for him.
Clark Kent, a newspaper man, who knew enough to stop that train. Well, we shall look for him too, my friend.
We'll have lots of time. They won't get the line clear this side of Sunday.
We shall look for this Mr. Kent, and when we find him... the train. They've decided to go back to Pueblo. Let's look. Kino, that train.
What?
It's going west.
Why, it can't be. Hey, well, what the...
But it is. It's on its way to Denver.
Why, it can't be. Why, there was 20 tons of rock on the line.
Look for yourself, Kino. It's not possible. It's not human. But look. Well, very well. We go to Denver too, Kino, at once, to find out what goes on, and to take care of Mr. Kent, the newspaper man. Get the plane ready.
Less than 24 hours to solve the plot and save the Silver Clipper. But now the Wolf is hard on Clark Kent's trail. What happens in Denver when daylight comes? When Clark Kent breaks the story, and when the Wolf meets Superman? Tune in and don't miss it. And remember, be with us again for the next thrilling installment of Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
And now, Superman. When we last left Superman, he had arrived in Denver as Clark Kent, news reporter, to investigate a strange and deadly plot against the railroads of the West. He had been able to prevent the Continental Limited from being swept into a canyon by a rock slide. But now the unknown force is directed against the Silver Clipper, crack train of the West Coast Railway. Mysterious messages have warned that the Clipper, due to leave Denver at sundown, will never arrive in Salt Lake City. Morning newspapers have carried Kent's story of the rock slide. And while railroad officials and government men search desperately for clues, Kent himself walks briskly toward the great central station for a conference with the division superintendent. But meanwhile, the plot moves on. In a secret hiding place overlooking the railroad yard, the man called the Wolf talks with his subordinate, Kino. Listen.
So, very fine. At last, the unbelieving fools begin to take me seriously. You have read the stories, Kino?
I read 'em.
Well, why so sullen?
Well, I don't understand it. I tell you, that track was blocked for 100 feet, and yet 5 minutes later, the Continental went right on through.
Next time, my friend, please to observe more accurately. Obviously, the track was not blocked for 100 feet. It was not blocked at all.
But I tell you it was.
You should join forces with the conductor of the train. He swears that a tremendous figure in blue tights and a red cape appeared from nowhere, replaced the missing rails, cleared away 20 tons of rock, and made a safe passage for the train, all in a matter of minutes. Oh, yes, and he is now confined in the city hospital, that conductor, for observation.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I seen the same thing myself.
That will do, my friend. We have no time for pipe dreams. You were deceived by shadows. And now listen, there's work to do.
I'm listening.
I note that this story is signed by that newspaper man, Clark Kent, the one who was on the train.
Well, I told you about him.
I should like to be better informed. That fellow seems to know a great deal. How he knows, I have no idea. But he does. Also, I have checked up on him. He was assigned to cover the story back east, and seems to have arrived out here incredibly soon.
Must have flown.
Undoubtedly. But that's neither here nor there. Do you know where he is now?
I did what you told me. I trailed him. He left his hotel to go see the divisional superintendent of the railroad.
Did he? How lucky.
Lucky?
We'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We've got them on the run. They're worried, Kino, and frightened.
I hope you're right.
They don't know which way to turn or what to believe. They'd like to keep the Silver Clipper in Denver tonight, but they don't dare. They don't dare, Kino. They can't admit they're terrified. And wait till they get my telegram.
Telegram?
Can you dress up like a messenger, Kino?
Huh?
Uniform and so on?
Oh, sure.
Excellent, excellent. You will put on your fake uniform and take this wire, also fake, to the superintendent.
Now?
At once. If you have luck, you'll find him with Mr. Clark Kent. You will also find, I think, that he is trying to locate a missing engine, Kino.
Missing engine?
Just so. If he finds it, I'll eat it.
Huh?
Never mind. Get your uniform on, Kino. Deliver the telegram personally. And bring back as much of the conversation as you can. You understand? Now, where's that conductor's story? Quite the funniest reading I've seen this week. A Superman, huh? Appearing out of the night. Where?
Hello? Yes, this is the superintendent speaking. What? Well, trace it again. Trace it from both ends of the line. Oh, nuts. Don't tell me you can't find it. Do you think a locomotive and tender could vanish into thin air? Check every station master and call me back. I'm sorry, Mr. Kemp.
Oh, that's quite all right.
Stupid idiots. Look here, we sent a spare engine and tender down the line last night, and now they can't tell me where it is.
What? On the main line?
Certainly. Never mind. Let's get back to this business, the Continental.
Any more news of that conductor?
No, not so far. Poor fellow's out of his mind.
What do you suppose he thought he saw? All that business about a Superman.
Yes, I only wish to heaven they'd never printed it.
Well, I didn't report that, believe me.
No, I know. And now look here, Kent. I've checked with your paper back east, and they tell me that it's all right, and that you're here to do what you can. Now, what do you want to know?
Well, first of all, have you any idea what's back of this trouble on the railroads?
Not the slightest. If you ask me, there's a lunatic at large.
Oh, don't you believe it?
What else can I believe? It's too senseless, utterly mad.
Well, you had warnings.
Yes, which we ignored. We get them all the time from cranks and nuts.
But these warnings came true.
So what of it?
Well, do you still think they came from cranks and nuts?
All right, Kent. What do you think?
I think that one man or a group of men is trying to paralyze the country with fear.
Yes, but why?
I'm afraid we'll find that out later. Unless we can stop them.
Good Lord, we've got to stop them. This can't go on, Kent.
We'll do what we can.
What do you suggest?
I suggest that you don't let the Silver Clipper leave Denver tonight.
Oh, Kent, she's got to leave. Can you imagine what the reaction would be if she didn't?
You're taking a chance.
I can't help that. She's got to go.
Well, then we must work fast. We only have until this evening. I have one more idea.
Yes, what is it?
Well, if you read my story carefully, you'll see that I imply I know more than I printed.
Yes, I did notice that. Well, do you?
Not yet, but I expect to.
How?
The people back of this, particularly the man called the Wolf, will want to know just what I do know and where I got it.
Well?
I propose to show myself around until he catches up with me.
Will he?
I think so. I was shadowed this morning on my way here.
Good Lord. You were?
So I think he and his friends are just waiting their chance. And I'm going to give it to them.
Oh, Kent, don't do it. Why, if they'd wreck a train, why, they wouldn't think twice about it.
About putting me out of the way?
Yes.
Don't worry.
But why? What's the idea?
While they're finding out how much I know, I may be finding out one or two little items about them.
Well, I only hope... Here. How long have you been standing there, messenger?
Oh, I just come, boss. You the divisional superintendent?
Telegram?
Yes, sir. For you personally. They told me to bring it right in. I seen the door was open, so I
I
walked.
hope they found that engine.
Well?
That's all, messenger. Get out.
Yes, sir.
No, wait. Hey, where'd you get this wire?
Huh? Why, the office gave it to me. Said to bring it right over.
All right. Go on. Close the door behind you. Hey, Kent, listen to this.
Yes?
Where an engine is now, a train will be tomorrow. The Silver Clipper will vanish like smoke, never to be seen by the eyes of living men.
Well, sounds like black magic.
I don't believe it. Why, they'd never dare.
Oh, they'd dare, all right. Is that telegram signed?
Yes. It's signed The Wolf.
The Wolf? Look here, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes?
That settles it. Have that wire checked. Find out who sent it and when and from where, if you can. My guess is you'll discover it's faked. I wish we'd held that messenger.
Kent, what are you going to do?
Just what I said I'd do. Put myself in the hands of the Wolf and see who wins.
Superintendent speaking. What? Why, look here, that's not possible. It can't be. Man alive, think what you're saying. Now, look here, you tell that crew to report here in my office. That's right, at once. My God, Frizz, I bet I'll find out something.
Anything new?
Why, it's the silliest thing I ever heard. Wait, that telegram. Where an engine is now. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a minute.
What is it?
Kent, that locomotive and tender. It passed through Kingston at 11:15.
Yes?
And it passed through Richville at 11:50.
Well?
It should have reached Lewisburg at 12:20, just 30 minutes later.
And it didn't? It wasn't on time?
On time? I had never got there at all.
Oh, well, that's easy. It left the rail somewhere in between.
Yes, you'd think so. But listen to this. A crew left Richville and a crew left Lewisburg. They met somewhere in between, just now in broad daylight. And neither crew had seen a sign of that engine anywhere.
That's not possible.
No, it isn't, is it? Black magic. Isn't that what you called it, Kent? I think I'm going mad like that conductor. Well, what are you going to do?
Do? I'm going out to hunt wolves. Anybody looking? No. Quick. Out of these clothes. Now, that window. Goodbye to Clark Kent temporarily. It's Superman's turn now to find out where those devils are hiding and to listen while they tell me what they know. Up, over the yards. Circle around a bit. Ah, there goes that messenger. Watch him, watch him. I'll land on that roof. Look down into the street. There he goes. The messenger. Into that house with the broken railing. Now then, I think I'll become Clark Kent again. Respectable representative of the Daily Planet. I'll just walk casually down that street and see what happens. Down we go.
So, he thinks he'll find out one or two little items about us, huh, Kino?
Yeah, that's what he said before they saw me standing there.
I think I should like to question that young man on various angles of the so interesting story he wrote for this morning's paper. What are you doing by the window?
Hey, down there in the street, look.
Huh? What is it?
It's him, walking right up to the house.
What? Is that Clark Kent? How did he know where to find me? Who told him?
I don't know. Hey, don't look at me like that.
How did he know which way to take to get here?
Here, search me, boss.
He knows too much. How does he know? Quick, Kino, downstairs.
Hey, boss, what are you going to do with him?
There's a vault below us, Kino. Steel-lined and soundproof, with various devices to bring out information.
You going to take him there?
For a time. For a little conversation, my friend. Stop. Look for the peephole. Is he coming?
Yeah, right this way. Hey, wait a minute.
Is anyone else in the alley?
No, it's empty. Here he comes. We'll jump out and grab him, huh?
All right, be ready with your blackjack.
Now. Hey, where are you going?
Quick, Kino, let him have it.
Here, what's the big idea?
Hey, come on, jump, boss.
Inside with him, quick.
Come on, you. No hanging back.
Good work, Kino. Good work. Down the iron stairway. Quick. Someone may have heard us.
He's trying to hang back. I'll fix him.
There we are. Shove him inside. Now, close the door. Now then, Mr. Clark Kent, the time has come for a little talk. Kino, my friend, you may prepare the aids to conversation.
Clark Kent in the power of the wolf. Or is the wolf, all unknowing, in the power of Superman? And meanwhile, where is the missing engine? Excitement, thrills, suspense. Tune in and follow the story. And remember, be with us again for the next thrilling installment of Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
And now, Superman. Just a few hours to go before the crack train of the West Coast Railroad, the Silver Clipper, leaves Denver for Salt Lake City, where the mysterious power, through its agent, the Wolf, has sworn she will never arrive. And Superman, in his character of Clark Kent, news reporter for the Daily Planet, Superman was last seen being dragged down a flight of steel stairs and thrown into the soundproof room of the Wolf's hideout near the railroad yard. It is late afternoon, verging toward sundown in the world above, and still the gangster Kino works on the unresisting form of Kent, bound and shackled to the wall before him.
Listen, you. I'm getting tired of this. How about talking?
I've already told you. There's nothing I care to talk about.
Wise guy, hey? Okay, we'll see how long you last at this.
Open the door, Kino.
Okay, here comes the boss. Wait till you see what happens now.
Well, Kino, what luck?
No luck at all so far. He ain't doing much talking. He's tough, boss. Still, I was just gonna...
Let it go, Kino. There's no more time. I did want to know where he got his information, but it won't matter.
That's what you think, Wolf.
That's what I know, my young friend.
What do you mean?
You'd like me to talk, huh? Very well, I don't mind in the least. In a few hours' time, Mr. Clark Kent, the Silver Clipper will leave Denver for Salt Lake. You recall what happened to the locomotive and tender last night?
Don't boast, Wolf. You didn't have anything to do with that. They'll find that engine.
Possibly. But they haven't found it yet. And let me tell you this, Mr. Kent. They won't find the Silver Clipper either. Kino.
Yeah, boss.
We're leaving at once.
Well, what about this guy?
He'll stay where he is, permanently.
What are you going to do, Wolf?
Nothing whatever. We shall leave you just where you are, for all time. or until someone comes down here and finds you, which may take a month or two, Kino, the persuader.
Oh.
Out like a light. And when he comes to...
When he comes to, we'll be 20 miles on our way to San Joaquin.
Hey, wait, boss. He's plenty tough. What if he breaks out?
Breaks out? Don't be silly, Kino. The walls are solid sheet steel, 3 inches thick. Then 5 inches of concrete. Then more steel. If he breaks out of that, I'll put him in the circus.
Okay. Reckon he's safe.
Come, Kino. Goodbye, Mr. Clark Kent. You'll forgive me if I do not say, I hope we meet again.
But we will meet again, and very soon. And thanks for telling me where. On the road to San Joaquin, eh? Well, I'll give you a little while to get clear of town, and then I'll be seeing you, Wolf. Handcuffs, eh? It's a good thing for you I wasn't feeling playful.
All right, Kino. From now on, things will move.
Jump in, boss.
Take the lower road to the river, and then up toward the pass. Look, Kino. The sun's just going down over the railroad yards.
Hey, boss. There she is, the Silver Clipper. Just in from Shy. She'll lay over a while and then hit the line for Salt Lake.
And we'll be ready and waiting. Let's go.
"20 minutes. That ought to give me time enough to get out of earshot. What was that he said about sheet steel 3 inches thick? You're a liar, Wolf. 2.5 at the most. Look at those walls bend. Well, you might have kept Clark Kent in a vault like this, but not Superman. There goes the concrete. And still more steel. Well, I'll just put my foot through that. And that's that. Now, up the stairs. I won't go out in the street. Attract too much attention. Just up to the roof for an easy takeoff. Oh, what's this? A skylight. And padlocked. Here goes. Out into the night in the fresh air. One jump and we're up. Up. And away. Now then, all I have to do is follow his car on the San Joaquin Road. Oh, yes. And a fellow called the Wolf is going to put Clark Kent in the circus. Here I come,
Wolf. Hey, watch where you're going, will you, boss?
Take it easy, Kino. In a moment, we'll be at the crossing of the San Joaquin River. Do you know where that runs?
Sure, down through Schooner Canyon Lake to the dam at Wallkill.
And do you know how Schooner Canyon got its name?
Who cares?
Oh, it's interesting, Kino. The canyon took its name from an old mining camp, now at the bottom of the lake.
I still don't see
why... It was a roaring camp, Kino, until they built the dam and turned the canyon into a reservoir.
Must have been tough to get to, down in a hole like that.
They had a railroad, Kino. They broke a tunnel through the canyon wall, laid the tracks through the tunnel, and down the canyon wall to the camp.
Yeah?
Now you're beginning to understand. Exactly, Kino. The camp is under 1,000 feet of water, but the branch line tracks still lead to the water's edge. Through the tunnel, down the wall.
Hey, now listen, you don't think that you
Wait,
can...
wait. What was that?
I didn't hear nothing.
It sounded like a rushing of wind. Or wings. High over our heads.
Chicken hawk.
At night?
Well, I don't hear it now, whatever it was. Hey, what about the canyon?
Well, Kino, that's where that spare engine went last night.
Into the lake?
Right into it, Kino. It left the main line after my men had attended to the switch, shut down the grade, roared into the tunnel, and disappeared forever in the waters of Schooner Canyon Lake.
Couldn't they stop?
No time. And the rails of the branch line were thick with grease.
Oh, you can't do it again. It's wholesale murder.
What of it? Not losing your nerve, are you, Kino? Look, we're here.
Hey, you left the road.
Naturally. We're on the back road above the old junction. Come along, Kino.
Where are we going?
Down the tunnel, just a few yards ahead. I'll show you what's going to happen. What's the matter?
Hey, what's that guy doing over there?
One of my workmen, I suppose. I have several. Where? I don't see him.
He dodged off again. Listen, now, I don't like this. Someone's sure to catch on.
Who? Don't be a fool, Kino. The only outsiders are the 2 members of the train crew on the engine. They jumped off last night just in time.
What, the engineer? Well, where is he?
He'll never jump again, nor will the fireman.
Well, where are they?
Up on the rocks above the tunnel, shackled down. Later, they'll be found lying dead beside the tracks. Sensation, Kino. Imagine the mystery and the terror. Train crew dead on the tracks. No sign of an accident. No sign of the train.
Oh, there he is again. Look.
Be quiet, will you? What are you talking about?
I seen it. A long red cape. He was just flying.
Kino, you're out of your head.
The conductor. That's what the conductor saw. Clearing the line for the Continental.
The conductor was seeing things, and so are you, Kino. Come along. Here's the tunnel.
I don't want to go in there.
Oh, yes, you do, Kino. I want you to. It's not far, but I want you to see what happens to trains and to people.
People? What do you mean?
You're weak, Kino. You see things in the dark. You might be tempted to forget who you're working for.
Oh, no, never. Not me, boss.
Well, we'll just make sure of that. Keep going, Kino, until I tell you to stop.
The devil. The cold, inhuman devil. He's given himself away this time. I'll find those 2 trainmen. They're just the evidence we need. Where are they? Quick. Above the tunnel. Good thing I can see in the dark and through rocks. Ah, there they are. Chained down to die. But they won't die. Not this time. They'll be the witnesses that hang you, Wolf. No, it's all right. It's all right. I won't hurt you. Gotta break those chains. Now, one under each arm. I'll find a ranch house and drop them at the door. They won't know what's happened. Think they crawled there. And then back to get the police. Up!
There, Kino. We're at the end of the tunnel. Look down the canyon.
Gee, it must be 1,000 feet across.
And would you like to know how deep? 300 feet down to water, and 1,000 feet more after that.
Yeah.
The Lake of Schooner Canyon. What's the time?
The flash of light. 7:15.
7:15. Kino, the Silver Clipper is 20 minutes out of Denver.
20 minutes out of Denver, roaring up the Rockies to the crossing at San Joaquin. The cracked streamliner of the West Coast Railroad rushes through the dark at 80 miles an hour, destined for a watery grave at the bottom of Schooner Canyon Lake. Meanwhile, a strange figure hurtles through space, back the way he came. But will he be in time? Can he drop the injured men, warn the authorities, and get back to save the train without revealing who he is? Thrills, suspense, climax. Tune in and follow the story of Superman. Be with us again for the next thrilling installment of Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's Superman!
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies that even the G-men cannot reach. The Green Hornet. The adventurer, Money, talks too loud. The events and characters depicted in this drama are fictitious. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
Hey, Clicker, I got the news from the state capitol.
Lay off, Lowry. This is my busy 2 weeks. Don't sit there.
Huh?
You're almost having some enlarging paper. I'm in a hurry to get my desk packed up. Freeze, will you?
Where are you going? You don't rate a vacation till August.
This, mister, is no vacation.
Special assignment? Where are you going? What are you going to photograph?
I'm not taking any pictures for the next 2 weeks. I'm filling in for Lenore Case on her vacation.
You're what?
Believe it or not, big boy, I'm to be secretary to the boss.
How do you like that? You? Say, no fooling.
No fooling, brother. So clear away from the desk. I'm doing his office now. He'll be in himself in a little while.
Like funny, Will. He's not due before noon today.
Well, that's what you think.
I know it. And if you don't believe it, ask the society Ed. She saw him at that Bernard dame's party last night.
Was he there?
Sure.
Gosh. I guess it must have been quite a party. There were a lot of big shots from the state capitol there.
Yeah, big shots is hot. What'd you say?
What's the matter with you? I said there were a lot of senators and things there.
There were? Oh, I wish I'd known that. I'd have barged in myself. I want to talk to some of those birds.
For what?
A slant on the horse racing bill.
What's that?
Don't you read the papers?
Nope. I just look at the pictures.
They're trying to put a bill through to legalize betting on the GGs.
They are? Say, that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
That's what you think. Don't make a crack like that in front of Britt Reed.
Is he against the bill?
And how?
But he can't be.
Oh, he can't, huh? Tell him that, Toots. Go on and tell him that.
Think I'm afraid to? Look here, smart guy. The Brannigan bill is before the committee right now.
What bill?
Brannigan. That's the horse race bill, in case you didn't know.
Oh.
And the bookies have gotten together about 50,000 smackers to lobby against it.
Why, you don't...
And money talks in the state capitol.
You say you don't read the papers?
If Britt Reed starts a string of articles against the bill, he'll be stringing right along with the bookies, and he can't do that.
Sister, maybe you've got something there. But tell me this. How can he take a stand in favor of the bill?
Well, why can't he?
In the first place, there are too many bad angles to it. Too many places for the grafters to get in. Too little protection for the state. Why, it costs more to collect the state's taxes than the amount of revenue it would bring in.
Gosh, I didn't know all that.
I'm telling you.
Well, tell me more.
It would mean that the state would sanction gambling. That would open everything up again for the operators of the slot machines, the dog races, the pinballs, the numbers games and the policy rackets, and the lotteries. If the state allows gambling on horses, how can they stop it on other things? As it is now, people who know of bookies go and sol the bet from time to time, but the great rank and file of people aren't interested. Let gambling on the races be made legal, and everyone will be betting on the GGs instead of paying their groceries.
Gosh, you're doing swell, Lowry.
Oh, what's the use? The boss can't stand in favor of the bill for the reasons I've mentioned, and he can't oppose it without being on the side of the bookies who'll be broke if the bill's put through. He's right on the fence. The only thing for the Daily Sentinel to do is keep quiet about it.
Yeah. I've got a picture of Britt Reed keeping quiet on an issue as big as this. It's going to be fun to see just what he does do. I'm not so hot on this machine, Mr. Reed, but maybe I'll get better with practice.
You're doing all right, Miss Benny.
There. I guess that'll do. You want to sign it now?
I'll send it into my office with the rest of the letters when you have them finished.
Yes, sir.
Now, concerning this Brannigan bill that's in committee at the Capitol.
Oh, yes. Lowry was speaking about that this morning.
The Daily Sentinel is going to take a firm stand against it.
But, Mr.
Now, I'm
Reed...
going to get advised that we're to campaign strongly in opposition.
Right along with the gambling interest, huh?
What?
I understand there's a lot of cash to hire lobbyists against the bill. The bookies put up the dough. Money.
Oh?
They'll be glad to know the Sentinel is with them.
With them?
Well, isn't that what your opposition amounts to?
Perhaps it is.
And that's the way it appeared to me. I suppose if you played your cards right, you might sell them some space.
Sell who what?
The bookies, some space. Why not?
Miss Benny, have you been talking to Lowry or Hawks?
Well, not about selling space.
The Sentinel is opposed to the passage of the Brannigan bill, but that doesn't mean we're in cahoots with the bookmakers.
No, sir.
Never mind that message to Gunnigan. I'll write an article myself.
Now, isn't this something? Look here, Gopher.
What you got, Farnsworth?
The Daily Sentinel is out with a knife for the Brannigan bill.
No fooling.
Read it yourself. Playing right along with us. I'm almost sorry we chipped into the pool to lobby against the bill. Why, now there isn't a chance of the thing going through.
This is pretty strong stuff, ain't it, boss?
Plenty strong. And this is just a beginning. I say when Britt Reed takes sides in an issue, he goes all the way.
When Britt Reed takes sides on an issue, Clicker, he goes all the way. That's the trouble.
Oh, why the dickens Ed couldn't he have stayed away from the office for the next few days? Hang it. He goes on his merry nightlife way with parties and dances and spends his afternoons at the club or polo or golf or tennis.
Yeah, I know, Click. It's old stuff. He never comes around with anything particular on his mind until there's something like this. Then he takes unfair advantage of the rest of us just because he happens to own the confounded paper.
Well, cheer up, Ed.
Cheer up! With every bookie in town tipping his hat to me?
I think maybe the boss will change his mind about going through with his campaign against the bill.
Him change his mind?
You wait, fella. I've been busy.
You?
Sure.
Hey, Finney!
Me?
Reed's calling to you. Get back where you belong.
Holy smoke, I didn't know he was in yet.
What'd you do?
Nothing, Guy. Just wait.
You said you'd been busy. Hey, wait a minute.
See you by and by, Lowry. I didn't know you'd come in yet, Mr. Reed. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right, Miss Benny. Rather glad I came in early this morning.
Early? Oh, yeah. Early for you.
Here's an interesting letter that was in my mail.
Oh, really?
It's a letter of thanks for the manner in which the Daily Sentinel's taking a stand against the Brannigan bill.
Oh?
Signed by the Green Hornet.
Not really.
No, not really.
What? Not really?
That's what I said.
But I don't...
Someone wrote this letter to me and forged the signature of the Green Hornet. It's quite an accurate copy of it. Not bad at all. It must have been done either from an original or a photograph of an original.
But how could you tell that?
I wonder if someone who wants me to take a neutral stand on the Brannigan bill might not have sent this to me.
Whatever gave you that impression?
Or possibly someone who'd like to see me reverse myself and go in favor of the bill, knowing that I dislike the gambling ring.
But mightn't it be genuine? After all, Mr. Reed, the Green Hornet might be involved in the gambling ring. And in that case...
I think I'll fire Ed Lowry because of this letter.
Fire Lowry?
Why can't he come out like a man and tell me what he thinks instead of going about it in this roundabout way?
But Lowry didn't do that, Mr. Reed.
Didn't do what?
He didn't send that to you.
How do you know, Miss Benny?
Gosh, I know the guy. He wouldn't do that sort of thing. Honest to Mike, he wouldn't. He'd come out with anything he had to say.
That's what I always thought. I can't imagine anyone else who might have sent it. Can you?
Well, gosh.
Well, don't try to think too hard, Miss Benny. We'll let the matter drop.
Well, isn't there some small chance that the Hornet might be opposed to the Brannigan bill?
Well, yes, Miss Benny. There is a chance that the Green Hornet might be opposed to the Brannigan bill.
Then you won't play along with the same side that the Green Hornet is on, surely.
Why?
Well,
Oh, I'm late. I'm due at the Civic Club for luncheon. You watch things here, Miss Benny.
Yes, sir.
If any more letters come from the Green Hornet, save them for me.
Yes, sir.
I have an idea there won't be any more.
I don't think there will be. Gosh, that guy gives a girl a headache that aspirin won't cure. Makes me feel like a first-class heel.
He's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
Now, give out, Clicker. What's the idea you had in mind?
Listen, Lowry, skip it. As an idea, it wasn't so hot.
Well, the boss has got to do something. A couple of the boys just blew in.
So what?
We're taking a sleigh ride. Everyone in town's giving us the berry.
What do you mean, everyone in town?
Well, all the bookies. They're thanking us for giving them a hand. Now, how do you like that?
I don't.
He'd be better off if...
Special for Mr. Reed.
Okay.
What's that?
I don't know. A letter of some sort.
Well, open her up. You're private secretary this week, aren't you? Maybe it's a lead on something.
Well, if it is, you won't get... Holy smoke!
Huh?
This is from the Green Hornet.
What? What's from the Hornet? What about the Hornet?
This is the real McCoy, the unadulterated real thing. A thanks letter for the stand the Sentinel has taken.
Signed the Green Hornet?
Signed the Green Hornet. Now what'll I do? Why does everything happen to me?
Sister, you invite things to happen. Now what?
I can't show this to him.
Well, why not? That's news.
Sure, it's news, but I thought the first one would be news.
First one?
Oh, Ed, I faked a letter just like this. I had a photo of one of the Hornet letters that are in the hands of the cops, and I faked one, thanking him for a stand against the Brannigan bill.
Yeah?
I thought maybe if he thought the Hornet was against the bill, he'd drop the publicity he's been running. And now a real letter comes in, and I can't show it to him.
Baby, you sure lead with your chin. Hey, but look, why not switch letters?
Huh?
Put this real one in the place of the one you showed him, see?
Oh, he knows the first was a fake. He saw something about it.
Yeah? Well, lay your cards on the table. Tell him the whole works and trust the luck that he don't give you the air.
Oh, he will. He was going to fire you.
Me? For what?
Well, he thought you'd sent the letter with a Hornet's mark on it.
Why, you...
I told him you didn't.
I'll never learn to stop talking to you. Sooner or later, I'm going to land in real trouble through you.
Oh, Lowry, I'm sorry. Hang it all. Didn't I have the interest of the paper at heart? I wanted to make the boss realize how things stood. That was the only reason I did it.
Sure, you thought you knew more about running the paper than he does.
Oh, God.
I don't know what he'll do, but you sure deserve getting canned.
All I can do now is to tell him the truth and take whatever he dishes out.
That evening, in his apartment, Britt Reed told Cato about the letters from the Green Hornet.
The first I suspected came from Miss Benny. It gave me an idea, you see, Cato?
What was that, Miss Britt?
I sent another letter in, and when I got back to the office, Miss Benny broke down and admitted that she'd sent the first. But I had Lowry make a page-one story from the second.
What for?
To pave the way. Right now, I'm between two fires. I don't like to be in this position. I must take a stand against the Brannigan bill, but by taking that stand, I'm aligned with the gambling interests.
But what could the Hornets later do?
Every one of the gamblers will read it. They'll be ready for the call I'm going to make on some of them.
Yes?
I know who the ringleaders are. The biggest of all is a man named Farnsworth. His assistant is called Gopher.
Called what?
His name is Gables. They call him Gopher Gables.
Oh.
I also know the members of the legislature who will take money for their votes. And some of them are on the committee considering the Brannigan bill.
Who are they?
We needn't list the names just yet. I'm not ready for them.
Where are you going?
To the car. Come on with me. I may need you. I've got to leave the car to make some phone calls. You'll have to stay with the machine.
Very well.
Britt Reed went through a sliding panel in the rear of his clothes press, then between the walls of the apartment to a secret door that opened into an old, supposedly abandoned warehouse where the sleek black car of the Green Hornet was housed.
I don't know whether or not we'll get real action tonight, but we'll be ready for it, Cato. We'll take the mask and the weapons.
They're in the car.
Good enough.
But what do you do?
There's just one way to get out of this spot. That's to prevent the passage of the bill and smash the gambling ring. Both must be done.
How?
They say, Cato, that money talks. Well, in this case, if my plan works out, money is going to talk too loud.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Green Hornet adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. Farnsworth and his aide, Gopher Gables, read the Sentinel with a great deal of amusement.
Can you beat it, Farnsworth? The Hornet tank and the Sentinel for what they're printing about the Brannigan bill.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or I wonder.
What's the matter, Mr. Farnsworth?
Maybe that message from the Green Hornet will have the reversed effect. I don't like the way it's been used here. The things that are written about it. It makes it look as if all of us were working with the Green Hornet. As if he was the boss of the whole bookmaking business in town.
Say, does it do that?
Yes. Maybe that'll make those fatheads in the Capitol pass the bill in spite of all we can do.
That won't do that, boss.
I wonder. Be quiet long enough for me to answer the phone. Well?
Farnsworth?
Yes, what is it?
You saw the Evening Sentinel?
Oh, naturally. Who are you?
It's going to cost more dough as a result of that story.
What do you mean, more dough?
There's a nervous bunch at the Capitol. They're afraid of public sentiment in view of the fact that the Hornet seems to be running your business for you.
That's ridiculous. Preposterous. The Green Hornet has no part in my business.
I know that, Farnsworth, but just the same, the boys need half again as much cash to swing the committee. You better get busy on the phone and raise it.
Who are you? Where are you calling from?
I can't say anymore now. Someone coming.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, what's the matter, boss?
I wish I knew who phoned. Someone said we had to raise more cash because of that story in the Sentinel.
Yeah?
I was afraid of something of that sort. Gopher, go and call on Meekin. Tell him to get the boys lined up and be ready for another contribution.
He ain't gonna like that so well, boss.
Tell him it can't be helped. We've already sunk plenty of cash in fighting the Brannigan bill. We've got to protect our investment. Now get going.
Gopher Gables hurried from Farnsworth's apartment, while Britt Reed, a short distance away, made a long-distance call from a drugstore phone booth. In fact, he made several of them.
Hello, is this Senator Jones?
I am Senator Jones.
You better get yourself a copy of the Sentinel and see what it has to say about the Green Hornet and the Brannigan bill.
I've read it. Why?
If you'll check with Smitty and Lynch and a couple of the others, you'll find that there's going to be extra cash for you in view of what the Hornet's done.
Who's calling?
Listen, Jones, I'll let you know who I am sometime when I want a favor, see? Meanwhile, just get smart and hold out for about half again as much as you've been promised.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's all right, Jones. I wouldn't expect you to say anything else over the phone. Just take a tip, though, and if you don't believe me, call Farnsworth. He's at home right now. Just tell Farnsworth that you don't like the way things are shaping up. If you don't want to call Farnsworth, speak to one of the boys up there who's representing him. Get the idea?
Senator Jones received this anonymous call in a hotel room where he had been playing cards with some friends.
I wish you'd tell me who you are.
Advice, Senator.
Sounded curious.
What is it, Senator Jones?
Advice from some anonymous party.
We don't need advice.
He stated that we should request additional recompense in view of the unfavorable publicity in this evening's edition of the Daily Sentinel.
I didn't like that story. Puts us on a spot where it'll be hard to table the Brannigan bill for this session.
I am fully aware of that.
Who are you telephoning?
Our friend, the lobbyist.
And then a short time later that evening, Farnsworth had a second call, this time from his representative at the state capitol. But while this call was being received, there were unseen witnesses. The Green Hornet and Cato, both wearing the familiar masks, were just outside an open window.
Yes, I know. I've already made the necessary arrangements. I'll raise more cash for those chiselers. I don't know when I'll have it. I'll let you know. And very well. Goodbye.
Hey, boss, I seen the boys.
Well?
They'll raise the dough.
When?
It ought to be on hand before the night is out. They'll contact you soon after midnight. They got to round up the guys that are out night clubbing.
The sooner the better. That cash should be in the hands of the boys at the Capitol in the morning.
Why have we got to work so fast?
The committee has to report on that bill. They'll have to hand in their report by the day after tomorrow at the latest, or it won't be passed at this meeting.
Ain't that what you want?
Of course it is. But if we don't raise the cash, then they will turn in the favorable report. And the thing will be railroaded through by the birds that want to close the session and get started on their summer vacations.
Yeah, I see.
The pressure of the newspapers will make them pass the thing unless we raise the cash to block it. Did you contact everyone?
Sure thing. Don't worry, boss. The dough will be here all right enough. You can get it to the Capitol in the morning with no trouble at all.
Very well. All we can do now is sit tight and wait.
Come on, Cato. While he's waiting for that cash to arrive, we'll make one more telephone call.
Yes, Mr. Bennis.
This way.
Aren't you going to go after the man?
Not just yet, Cato. That's all I wanted to see for the time being. That room, the desk, the inkwell. We'll probably use them all before the night's over.
Who are you calling now?
I'm going to try to reach Ed Lowry.
Will he be at the office?
No, he won't be at home. I'll probably locate him in one of his favorite hangouts.
Hey, Larry. Phone call for you.
Tell him I'm in conference.
Tell him yourself. It's your boss.
Gunnigan?
Mr. Reed.
Well, why didn't you say so in the first place? Holy cats, what's he want? It's almost midnight. Yeah, boss, this is Lowry.
Ed, remember there's nothing to this at all, but on the other hand, it's worth following up.
What's that, boss?
I happened to be in a nightclub when Gopher Gables came in.
Gables? He's Farnsworth's stooge.
That's right. He cornered Sutcliffe there and heard something said about raising more cash in a hurry and getting it to Farnsworth tonight.
More cash? That means the lobbyists need more. Wouldn't you say so?
I'm glad you agree with me. It might be a story if you get to Farnsworth's apartment and sort of hang around and watch.
It's worth a try, boss. I'll hop right over there. Thanks for the tip-off. Put what I owe you on the cuff, Gus. I'll probably be back before you close.
Where to, Lowry? You got a story?
Private business, boys. Private business.
Ed Lowry parked his car near the Farnsworth apartment and watched for quite some time. He saw a couple of men enter and leave the place. Then, after waiting a few moments longer, he approached and rapped on the door.
Hello, Gopher.
Lowry.
Mind if I step in? How are you tonight, Farnsworth?
What do you want here, Lowry?
Just stopped in for a chat. Hey, what's all that dough?
None of your business. Now beat it. We're busy.
You came for something, Lowry? What is it? Speak up.
I hear you're raising more cash to fight the Brannigan bill.
Where did you hear that?
Is that what the sugar is for?
Tain't none of your business. Now scram, Lowry. Can't you see the chain? Hey,
What's the matter with the lights?
Tricks, hey, Farnsworth?
Turn on that table lamp. Stand where you are.
Oh, and
Now, who are you?
you'll find out after I'm gone.
Where's he at? Let me drill him. Get to the floor, boss. I'm shooting.
No, you're not. Don't shoot, Gopher. Don't shoot.
But I can't breathe.
He went out the door.
Find one of the lamps. Confound it all. Get some light in here.
There's the light.
Who turned them on again?
How the devil do I know? Look at Gopher.
What's happened to you? Get up, Gopher. Get up.
Out cold, and look at the desk. The dough is gone.
The money. Get after him. Get after him, Lowry.
Chase him yourself. It was your dough. He spilled the inkstand. Look at here. He must have got his hands in the ink and smeared all over the doorknob.
What's been done to Gopher? Is he dead?
Hold on, Farnsworth. Get a load of this.
But Gable.
He'll be all right. He just took a snootful of gas, that's all. The bird who came here to get that dough was the Green Hornet.
What?
There's a signature. That stamp he left on your desk.
The Green Hornet.
Now there's a story for the Sentinel.
The next morning in the Sentinel office.
I wanted your story handled in a very specific manner, Lowry.
Oh, we should smear it on page 1, boss. A big banner.
No, it's too late for that. There have already been a couple of editions.
Oh.
Doesn't it seem logical in view of what we've seen before that the Green Hornet is the leader of the gambling ring?
Yeah, but he robbed Farnsworth.
How do you know?
Wasn't I there?
But how do you know he robbed him? Perhaps the mere fact that you were there made it necessary for the Hornet to make it appear to be a robbery.
Huh?
That would give him the cash you'll have to spend for the committee's vote. And do it in such a way that Farnsworth can't be tied up with it.
Boss, maybe you've got something there.
Of course, the Hornet may have taken the cash for himself. But it's my impression that he took it to pass on to the members of the committee. Ain't too bad that can't be proved.
Well, if we could just prove that those birds took bribes.
Or prove that the Hornet's in league with a gambling ring. Too bad there isn't some way to identify that money. But that's, of course, out of the question.
Yeah, there's no way to prove that the same dough that was taken from Farnsworth is given to Jones and Smitty and the rest of the grafters.
If you'd only known this sort of thing would happen, you might have marked the bills in some way.
Mark bills, yeah, but, well, I wouldn't have had a chance, boss. I only... Hey!
What's the matter?
Hey, boss! I just thought of something.
What are you talking about, Lowry?
Maybe those bills were marked.
What do you mean?
Look, the bills were on the desk, like this, see?
Yeah?
There was an inkstand here, like this. Well, the Hornet bumps the desk or something in the dark. I heard him. Then we find the ink's all spilled when the dough is gone. It's all over the desk, and there's some on the doorknob. Get it?
Yeah, perhaps the bills are smeared with ink.
That's just it.
Yeah, but, Lowry, that wouldn't prove anything.
Sure it would, boss. The ink could be tested. Get ink from Farnsworth's desk. Analyze it. Compare it with that on the bills. Boy, if we could only get to the Capitol in time to see those bills in the possession of the grafters on the Brannigan Bill Committee.
Oh, what are you waiting for? You won't get there by standing here.
I'm on my way.
I'll do what I can from this end.
Hey, what the...
Take wait till you see what I'm bringing back. I hope.
Miss Benny, get the district attorney. I want him to do whatever is necessary to get a sample of the ink from Farnsworth's office, just in case Lowry can come through.
It's a long shot, boss, but I'm playing it.
While Lowry raced for the state capitol in a fast car with necessary officials and credentials, the committee members were in recess in the halls. Farnsworth himself was there, speaking to one of the committee.
I came here personally, Jones, to explain
Farnsworth, it's bad for you and me to be seen.
Skip that, Jones. I had the dough already, but the Hornet stole it. Now, just do what we want, and you'll get what was promised.
Not so loud.
It's okay, Jones.
What is?
Oh, hello, Farnsworth. Where's Smith? Coming.
What did you say?
Everything's okay. We're going to hold that bill back. That's the stuff. Fellow over there wants to see you, Jones.
Who?
Friend of yours. Thanks for everything, Farnsworth. I was just explaining the dough was stolen by the Hornet, and What I was... dough? What dough do you suppose? What I had for you boys. But we got it. What? Yes, your man had it. But where did he get it? I'm not used to asking where cash comes from. I want to find out about this. Come on with me.
We'll have to hurry. The meeting is going to resume, and I want to talk to somebody.
Boys, there's Farnsworth. Yeah. Smith and Jones with them. They stand ready. They're passing out something that might be money. Come on, let's go see. Hey, Senator, just a minute.
Yes?
Hold it. Shoot the picture.
Got it. Oh, reporters, eh?
Yeah, snapping pictures of you and Farnsworth and one of the gambling ring's representatives. What's in that envelope?
None of your business.
See here, Lowry, you...
So the Hornet took the cash from you to pay these guys off, then sent it here to your lobbyist.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, it's ridiculous then, but what's in that envelope?
None of your business.
Don't talk too much, Farnsworth. You may be facing a rap for bribery. That dough you had last night was marked.
The Green Hornet stole it.
Sure, stole it. Maybe because you planned it that way.
The money is marked. What? What are you talking about? What are you trying to pull on us, Farnsworth?
Gave you marked money, so you're all discredited. That means your report won't be taken. It means the Brannigan bill will be buried because Farnsworth framed you into taking marked money.
That's a lie. I did nothing of the
Can't
kind.
explain what that cash is for. Look at the ink on it. That ink came from Farnsworth's desk. That can be proved. Furthermore, it can be proved that Farnsworth collected that cash last night from other members of the bookmaking ring.
I won't touch the money.
I didn't know there was money in this envelope. I was simply told that it was...
Sure, Jones. You just thought someone was sending you a Christmas card. Take Farnsworth and his pals in, boys.
You can't touch me. I have a right
We
to...
already got the warrant charging you with bribery. I guess that cash will make it stick. And if that doesn't, then by Thunder Farnsworth, they'll hold you plenty long because of your connection with the Green Hornet.
I have no such connection.
Then how come the dough the Hornet got from you is passed out by your men today?
You can't charge me with taking a bribe.
We won't need to place charges against you three crooks. Just resign, that's all you've got to do. You never belonged in the legislature in the first place. Go on back to your $25 a week job.
This is a frame-up. This is a frame-up.
It's just what's needed, Farnsworth. The Brannigan bill buried and the gambling ring smashed. There's news my boss will love to see in print.
Sentinel paper! Hornet allied with gambling ring! Bribery charges filed! Racing bill buried during roundup of bookies! Read all about it! Green Hornet doing our Sentinel extra paper!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Green Hornet, Incorporated.
The Blue Beetle. Sweeping down upon the underworld to smash gangland comes the mysterious, all-powerful character who is a problem to the police, but a crusader for law. In reality, Dan Garrett, a rookie patrolman, loved by everyone, but suspected by none of being the Blue Beetle. As the Blue Beetle, he hides behind a strange mask and a suit of impenetrable blue chain armor, flexible as silk, but stronger than steel. Today's episode of The Blue Beetle is entitled Spirit Don't Talk. In every city and small town throughout the country, there are certain individuals who claim to have supernatural powers. Mediums who claim that through them the dead speak. Only a few have firmly believed in their supernatural power and endeavored to use it for good. Even they have been exploited for dishonest purposes by unscrupulous individuals and groups of individuals. As our story opens, Patrolman Dan Garrett, who in secret is really the Blue Beetle, is discussing the fortune-telling racket with his friend and confidant, Dr. Franz.
Tell me, Danny, why is it the district attorney hasn't done something about this situation?
Well, in the first place, it's hard to get witnesses to testify against these fortune tellers and mediums. In the second place, what can witnesses testify to?
Why, that they were told that
they'd take an ocean voyage or meet a blonde man who would be the great love of their life? Can't put anybody in jail for that.
No, I suppose not.
That isn't the part of this racket that causes the police and the district attorney concern.
Oh, what does?
You see, when a person starts going to fortune tellers, he or she is a marked man or woman. He or she is registered, as it were, by a great ring.
Registered? Ring?
Yes, everything about the client is noted by the fortune teller. Assistants note the wearing apparel, its quality, style, where purchased, and so on. Traits of character are studied, weighed, and measured. Clients are urged to talk about themselves. If possible, names and addresses are secured. All this information goes into a central bureau to be tabulated and cross-indexed for future reference.
Well, bless my soul. I had no idea such an elaborate system existed.
Sure, there's a regular ring that controls the racket.
Well, what about spiritualism and mediums? Are these so-called mediums part of this racket?
Most of them. They constitute the most dangerous part of the racket.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, when they get hold of a client, some susceptible individual who believes it's possible to talk to the loved ones who've died, they work on that individual's mind, influence that individual to commit acts he or she would never think of committing if left alone.
What's the connection between fortune tellers and mediums?
The fortune tellers pick out easy marks, and if considered worthwhile material to work on, they're inveigled into visiting a spiritualist or urged to sit in on a seance.
my. People are so gullible.
Yes, they are. They have to be protected from themselves.
Somebody's in the store. I'll be back in a minute.
Probably Mike Manigan. If it is, send him back.
Hello, Doc. Is Danny the daredevil dude patrolling the street?
Yes, Danny's back in the laboratory.
Probably cooking up a witch's brew of some sort. You mind if I go in?
No, go right back, Officer Manigan.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Danny. Are you ready to visit the mediums?
Ready and waiting. Hey, you look very smart in your civvies.
Yeah, I think your advice was good. They'll never suspect we're cops in these clothes.
I don't know about that. My wind-blown barb and your red face. You don't look like bookkeepers.
Where are you two boys going?
To a seance.
You mean seance, Doc?
Yeah, we're going to talk with the dead.
Who's the medium?
Well, he calls himself Professor Windrip.
And where's the seance being held?
Windrip's house out on Elm Street. You know that old place that sits back from the street?
Yes, I know it. People used to say it was haunted.
That's the place.
Well, come on, Patrolman Garrett. Pardon me, Mr. Garrett.
You go ahead, Mike. I want to ask Doc something. I'll be with you in a minute.
Okay, I'll wait out front for you.
Say, Doc, can I borrow your X-ray camera with a special infrared lens?
Why, certainly, Danny. I'll get it for you. Just a minute.
What can I carry it in?
Oh, here. It's quite flat. Here it is. Put it in this briefcase.
Oh, thanks, Doc. I'll see you later, if the spirits don't get me.
In another part of the city, an interesting discussion is being held. Banker James Henley is talking with his son John and his nephew William.
I want you, John, and you, William, to accompany me to the seance, Professor Windrip. May you be able to communicate with my dead son, Rodney.
Oh, Dad, it's all a fake. This spiritualism and mediums and such stuff. I don't believe Professor Windrip or anybody else can communicate with the dead.
Well, I do. You only have to take one look at the professor to know that he's unusual. He has that faraway expression that psychic people have.
Oh, nonsense.
William is right, John. Professor Windrip is gifted beyond most mortals. I'm sure he will be able to communicate with my elder son who was killed in Spain. Perhaps Rodney will be able to advise me in my financial affairs. He was always so right about things. And I'm getting old, and I need his advice.
Yes, and I'm sure his advice will still be good, Uncle James.
Yes, William. I'm glad you have the right attitude toward these things.
Well, let's get started to the seance. The sooner we get there, the sooner it will be over.
Who's going to be out at Windrip's place, Danny?
Not sure. Charlie Storm with his son told me that Banker Henley's a frequenter of Windrip seances.
Well, how are we going to get in there?
Charlie got me 2 cards from a girlfriend of his, who's a hostess in one of those gypsy tea rooms.
Do you think they'll suspect us?
I don't know, but let me do the talking. You just keep still and look psychic.
And how does a guy look when he looks psychic?
You just stare straight at everything and everybody. Just as if you were looking through them at the immortal spheres.
That's the way I look when I've been hit on the head.
Well, I'll stock you one before we go in, if that'll help.
Yeah, never mind. I can look psychic without your help.
Okay. That's the house ahead.
Yeah, it's a pleasant-looking spot for a murder. Are you healed?
No, I didn't bring a gun.
Well, I did. And if any goes to depart a spirit that stay with me, I'm going to use it.
Now, here we are. Come on, Mike, and remember to look psychic.
Okay, Danny.
Good evening. Are you expected?
We have cards.
Very good. Will you come in, please? The seance is about to begin.
Thank you.
Who are these gentlemen, Gherkin? They have cards, sir.
Are you Professor Windrip?
Yes, I am.
This is Mr. Michael P. Manigan, and I'm Mr. Van Norden Garrett. We were recommended to you by the Gypsy Tea Room. My friend here is psychic.
Oh, I see. Well, come in, gentlemen. Right in here. This is Mr. James Henley, the banker, his son John, and his nephew William. Mr. Manigan, and Mr. Garrett.
Pleased to meet you.
Now, will you all take seats, please? You and Mr. Manigan sit here, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you.
We sit in a circle and hold hands. Mr. Henley, you sit here on my left, between Mr. Garrett and me. John, you sit on my right. And William, you sit next to your cousin John, between him and Mr. Manigan. Here we are.
This is a lot of poppycock.
John, be quiet. If you don't want to sit in, leave the room.
Oh, all right, Father. I'll keep quiet.
I'm afraid your son is not in a receptive mood, Mr. Henley.
No, he'll be all right, Professor. He's young, that's all.
Yes. Now, we'll each take the hand of the persons on either side of us. And I'll put the lights out with this switch in the floor at my feet. Quiet, everybody. Relax. Banish thoughts of this mundane world and let your minds wander out into the infinite. What was that sound?
My teeth chattering.
Is that you, Rodney, my son?
Yes, Father. Your son who was killed in Spain.
Speak to me. Rodney, are you well?
I cannot rest. A heavy burden lies on my soul.
What is the burden on your soul, Rodney?
My brother John does not love you. Only William loves you.
That's a lie. William is a crook. This seance is...
Lights. Switch on those lights.
What happened here?
John, what's wrong?
Well, I'll be... What happened? What happened here?
Oh, look, my son John there on the floor.
Stand back, everybody. Manigan, cover those exits. He's dead, all right. Stabbed in the back.
Wait a minute. What is this? Who are you to give orders in my house?
Patrolman Dan Garrett. My psychic friend is Officer Manigan.
And if anybody attempts to leave this room, this gun of mine will speak. And it won't be a psychic message either. Call headquarters, Danny. This is a case of murder.
An hour later, back at the little apothecary shop of Dr. Franz, Dan Garrett and Dr. Franz are examining two photographs which have just been developed.
Now, Doc, this is the first one I snapped with the X-ray camera. It shows the interior of the room where the seance was held.
What's that dark spot there on the wall?
Where? It looks like a loudspeaker behind a large painting.
That's probably where the voice came from that old man Henley thought was the voice of his dead son, Rodney.
Yeah, he was the old man's favorite son. He volunteered to fight in Spain and was killed in battle.
Let's see the other photograph.
Yeah, right. I took this one just as John said. This is a lie. It shows the group seated in a circle.
Look there.
A murderer. His hand is clutching the dagger, raised to strike.
It even shows the cotton he wrapped around the hilt to avoid leaving fingerprints.
This photograph alone will convict the murderer of John Henley.
Are you going to phone police headquarters to hold him?
No. If they hold him, we may not be able to run the higher-ups in the racket there.
Oh, then you think the murderer of John Henley was not the top man?
No. He was just part of the ring. The brains of the racket are higher up.
But they should have realized that John Henley's death would bring down the police on their necks.
Somebody made a miscue there. I don't think the ring planned John's death.
What do you think their plan was?
Simply to use the dead son Rodney's fake voice to work on the old man and influence him, to let his nephew William advise him, and in time persuade him to make William his heir.
But why?
William is probably being used by this gang of racketeers. If the old man should die, leaving his vast fortune to William, then William would be blackmailed into coming across with a large sum of money to the racketeers.
What devilish things evil minds can think up.
Yes. Oh, by the way, Doc, put those negatives in a safe place.
They'll be safe with me, Danny.
All right. Well, the Blue Beetle is going into action on this gang of crooked buzzards.
What are you going to do?
The Blue Beetle is paying several visits tonight. Before another day dawns, the
The spiritualist racket will be smashed.
Who is the murderer of John Henley? What will the Blue Beetle discover at Professor Windrip's residence? Whose warped mind is behind all these fiendish schemes to prey upon honest but superstitious and ignorant persons? Off through the night speeds the Blue Beetle in his crusade against crime. In another part of the city, a man is issuing orders to his subordinates. A dark, sinister-looking man whose tight-lipped smile has no mirth in it. His business is creating spirits. Spirits of those who have departed.
Joe, that last batch of cloth you bought me was certainly cheesy. My old nightshirt would make better ectoplasm than that junk.
Yeah, but you see, boss...
Never mind the alibis. Trade it in and get something thinner. Bart.
Yes, sir.
You still recording famous voices off the air?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See my secretary and get a list of the 400 best families.
Yes, sir.
Call on them one at a time. See if you can sell them the idea of having each voice in the family recorded as a memento for their relatives after they pass on. Make copies of each. We can use them in our seances.
I'll do it right away, sir.
Good. And as you go out, tell Sweeney and maintenance to order 24 more loudspeaker sets through my radio stores. 50 dozen crystal balls and 75 cases of playing cards.
Right away, sir.
Did you send for me, Chief?
Yes. Now, look, my apple-cheeked little trigger man. Professor Windrip phoned me that he has reason to suspect that some photographs were taken at his seance tonight by Patrolman Dan Garrett. The negatives may still be in his possession, or they may be in the possession of Dr. Franz that runs that little apothecary shop. I want those photographs.
Okay, Chief, I'll get 'em.
If you meet with resistance, let your conscience be your guide.
I got you, Chief. My trigger finger's awful nervous tonight. It must be the weather.
The professor calling, LG.
Show him in.
Oh, hello, LG. This is certainly a terrible state of affairs.
When did the cops release you?
Just now. Someone bailed us all out, and I came right to you.
I'll bet you left a trail a mile wide.
No. I changed trains 3 times in the subway. Walked through Ralph's department store and then took a taxi here.
Good.
Well, what do you advise me to do? My business is ruined.
Your business? You should have thought of that before you killed John Henley.
I killed him. You mean William?
I mean you. William wouldn't have the nerve.
But William hated his cousin. He was sitting right next to him.
And so were you.
What makes you think so?
A little bird told me. I've got spies down at police headquarters. They heard the questioning of your people by the police.
Oh.
Yes. Oh. They said you were playing up to old man Henley.
Well,
Now, say, you aren't figuring on trying to double-cross me on this, are you?
Why, no, LG, I assure you.
You'd better not if you know what's good for you.
And what about those 2 policemen, Mannigan and Garrett?
They'll be taken care of. When the case comes up for trial, they won't be there to testify.
Yes, but the photographs. I'm sure I heard the click of a camera during the seance.
The room was dark, wasn't it?
Pitch black.
Okay. And you don't have to worry. I'll leave everything to me.
What do you think I'd better do now?
Go out to your place and play dumb. I'll be out there later, as soon as I've had a talk with William Henley. He'll probably spend a few days on his uncle's yacht. In the meantime, I've got my men guarding everybody concerned. I imagine the Blue Beetle will stick his nose into this, and if he does, it'll be just too bad for Mr. Blue Beetle. Now, look, Henley. I don't think you killed your cousin John.
I didn't. I swear I didn't.
Well, okay. Now, you just take it easy. Play up to your uncle, and you'll be the white-haired boy. He always believed anything his son Rodney told him.
But this murder, what about that?
We're going to let Professor Windrip take the rap. He's all washed up with us.
I see.
Later, you will introduce your uncle to another medium, and we'll go to work on him again, in your favor. You'll be his heir.
Yes, but he may live a long time, and I need money now. My creditors are hounding me, and I can't wait.
Now, take it easy. Take it easy. Just as soon as he makes a will in your favor, he'll meet with an accident.
You mean?
He'll be talking with his dead son, Rodney, direct.
Very clever scheme, but it won't work.
The Blue Beetle.
Yes, the Blue Beetle, and he's going to nip.
Shall I let him have it, LG?
Drill him. Go ahead, shoot. Your bullets can't injure the Blue Beetle.
But this belaying pin will. Good work, Gus, good work. You throw a mean belaying pin, he's out like a light. What'll I do with him? Tie him up, weight his body with an anchor, and toss him overboard.
Okay, LG. Well, Mr. Blue Beetle, you're going for a nice swim. And you ain't coming back.
Say, aren't you a bit ruthless, LG?
In my racket, you have to be. Now, you be a good boy, and we'll all be rich.
Well, what are you going to do now?
I'm going ashore. Professor Windrip is going to have a caller and get a big surprise.
All right, Gherkin. I'm going to get some sleep. This has been a very trying evening.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir.
Did you dismantle and hide the phonograph equipment and records?
Yes, sir. Everything's been taken care of. Will you be sleeping late in the morning, sir?
Yes, Gherkin. Call me about noon.
Very good, sir. But,
Good heavens. Who can that be at this time of night?
well, I'll see, sir. It may be Mr. LG, as you call him. Good evening, sir. The master's just retiring.
Well, he'll see me. Oh, there you are.
Oh, yes. What have you found out, LG?
The Blue Beetle paid a visit to Henley's yacht while I was talking with William Henley.
Well, how did you get rid of him?
He's bathing in the Sound with a 50-pound anchor tied to his feet.
Great heavens.
Yes, he was in the way. Just as you're in my way, Professor Windrip.
What do you mean?
You're all through, Professor. You almost queered our racket. I can't wait for the law to take its course. Besides, you might spill the beans.
Oh, no.
I'm taking no chances. I'm going to close your mouth like... Drop that gun, LG, or I'll blast you with my magic ray.
The Blue Beetle.
Yes, the Blue Beetle. You must be a strong swimmer, Blue Beetle.
I am, and I learned a few tricks from Houdini. Otherwise, I'd be lying at the bottom of the Sound.
Get him, Gherkin! Get him from behind!
Oh, no, you don't. Not this time, Gherkin. The Blue Beetle's on the alert. And here's one for you, Professor Windrip. Murderers. Now I'll take that gun, LG.
Certainly, Blue Beetle.
Here it is, right in the... Just a little jiu-jitsu. Now I've got the gun.
What are you going to do? You've got nothing on me.
Oh, no? I swam back to the yacht after I freed myself from the anchor rope and had a little talk with William. Was he surprised to see me? He's going to talk and talk plenty.
He can't prove who killed John Henley.
But the photographs Dan Garrett took at the seance can.
What do you know about those photographs?
The Blue Beetle knows everything.
Now listen, Blue Beetle. Those photographs will never be shown at any trial. Pudgy has seen to that.
What do you mean?
Pudgy's my trigger man. I sent him to interview Dan Garrett's friend, Dr. Franz, the chemist. If the photographs are there, he'll get them or else.
Open this door and I'll break it in.
Well, Mr. LG, the law's caught up with you. Your racket's smashed and you'll burn along with Professor Windrip.
Not yet, I won't. I'll cheat the chair with this poison.
No, you don't. The law's going to send you and the murderous Professor Windrip where you can't cause any more harm.
All right now, all right. Reach for the ceiling. Well, if it ain't the Blue Beetle, Professor Windrip and the limey serpent. What a haul. And who's this?
That's LG, the ringleader of the gang. Just tried to take poison and I hit him. Here, Manigan, catch this gun.
What? Well, okay, Blue Beetle.
Sorry to leave so suddenly.
Hey, wait a minute, Blue Beetle. You're under arrest. Well, hanged if the Blue Beetle didn't dive out of the window. Well, boys, slip the handcuffs on these babies and we'll take them along. I'll catch the Blue Beetle the next time.
show the Blue Beetle caught and turned over to the police several racketeers. But what about Doc Franz and the photographs? What has happened to them? Has Pudgy carried out the orders of his chief, the infamous LG? Let's hurry back to the little apothecary shop of Dr. Franz.
Doc Franz, where are you? Hello, Danny. Why, what's your hurry? Are you all right? Never felt better in my life. But the gunman, did Pudgy... rosy-cheeked, rather confident gentleman called earlier tonight. I was in my laboratory at the time. Yeah, well, what happened? He mentioned something about some photographs. He was rather insistent that I give them to him. Did he... Yes. He pointed a gun at me. What did you do? Squirted a syringe full of concentrated ammonia in his eyes. Good. Where is he now? I tied him up to keep him from playing with my chemicals in there. Oh, that's great. And the photographs are safe? Everything's under control. Fine. Those photographs will convict Professor Winthrop of young Henley's murder, and William's testimony will take care of LG. What does LG stand for, Danny? Well, according to William, LG stands for Live Ghost, the man behind the spirit. Well, if you'll excuse me, Doc, I'm going to turn in. The Blue Beetle's had a very busy night.
And so all loose threads were tied together, and another racket smashed, thanks to Dan Garrett, Mike Manigan, Dr. Franz, and the Blue Beetle. What new adventure awaits the Blue Beetle? This question will be answered in the next episode of The Blue Beetle.
The Avenger. The road to crime ends in a trap that justice sets. Crime does not pay. Sworn enemy of evil is actually Jim Brandon, a famous biochemist. Through his numerous scientific experiments, Brandon has perfected two inventions to aid him in his crusade against crime as the Avenger. The telepathic indicator, by which he is able to pick up thought flashes, and the secret diffusion capsule, which cloaks him in the black light of invisibility. Brandon's assistant, the beautiful Fern Collier, is the only one who shares his secrets, and knows that he is the man the underworld fears as the Avenger. And now, The Avenger and the Tunnel of Disaster.
Fern, we'll finish this experiment later. It's time to listen to the broadcast now.
Oh, yes, Jim. I'd forgotten about that.
Why, Fern, how could you? Inspector White's talked of nothing else for a week.
You helped him write his dedication speech for the opening of the new tunnel, didn't you, Jim?
Yes, and he'll never forgive us if we don't listen to him deliver it.
No, I'll tune it in.
You know, they ran into so much trouble building that Riverport tunnel, I often thought they'd never finish it.
Well, folks, several thousand people are gathered here for the dedication of the new Riverford Tunnel that cuts through South Mountain. In another moment, the ceremonies will begin.
Jim, didn't the final cost of the tunnel amount to more than twice the amount originally planned for it?
That's right, Fern. The engineers ran into all sorts of difficulties. In fact, they advised the city council more than once to abandon the whole idea. It's pretty well known that the engineers wanted to resign, but the city held them to their contract.
Well, I suppose now that the tunnel is finished, it's worth all the money that was spent on it.
Yes. It will relieve the traffic jams on the other tunnels and make it easier to get in and out of the city on the south side.
Oh, listen, Jim. They're ready to begin the ceremony.
All right.
And the work was carried forward. We are broadcasting to you from a helicopter from which we can see both ends of the tunnel. Now, in just a moment, our tunnel commissioner, Jonas Anderson, will drive the first car through the tunnel. Right now, the tapes are being cut, the municipal band is striking up, and the commissioner's car is entering the tunnel. As soon as the car emerges at the other end, the signal will be given for the first ticket to be sold. The commissioner is making this trip to establish a time record. And now I'm going to lower the mic over the side and let you listen to the band for a moment. This record run seems to be taking a little longer than expected. The commissioner's car should have come through by now. Inspector White of the police department has just ordered the band to stop playing. Something has gone wrong, folks. Stand by.
Jim, what could have happened?
Oh, a flat tire, most likely. It couldn't be anything else.
Yes, something is wrong here, folks. We're going to land our helicopter on the roadway so that we can give you a first-hand report.
Stay with the radio, Fern. I'm going to see if I can pick up anything on the telepathic indicator.
Yes, Jim.
Nobody can understand what's happened here. Inspector White is going through the tunnel in a police squad car now, and we should know something in a minute.
Jim, did you pick up anything on the indicator?
Not yet, Fern.
Here comes the inspector squad car now. We'll have news for you in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, a very strange thing has happened here. Inspector White reports that there is absolutely no sign of either the commissioner or his car in the tunnel. They've just disappeared.
Well, Jim, pick up anything?
Yes, Fern, I did.
What, Jim?
Amid impressions of great excitement, the indicator picked up a strong telepathic impression of violence and disaster.
What shall we do, Jim?
We'd better get out there to the tunnel right away, Fern. Inspector White will need us.
Okay, Joe, it's Jim Brandon. He's connected with my office. Let him through the ropes.
Thanks, Inspector.
Good grief, this is some lie.
Yes, Fern, we tried to get them to go home, but they won't budge. Over this way, Jim. I want to talk to you.
Say, how many guards were stationed in the tunnel when this crazy thing happened, Inspector?
4, Jim. 1 on each end and 2 in the center. The center ones were knocked out, but they're in the hospital under guard.
There's not a chance that they know anything. If they did, they'd have been killed.
That's what I think. But here's something else, Jim. This note was found pinned to the coat of one of those guards.
What does it say, Jim?
It's a warning to the mayor. It says, River Ford Tunnel is a death trap. The public will never use it. Close it at once or disaster will strike again.
Well, anyway, it's a relief to know we're dealing with a flesh and blood criminal. For a while, it looked as though the commissioner had just disappeared into thin air.
Well, he has, Fern. We know that he went into the tunnel, and we know he didn't come out. He's not in there now, so where is he?
Inspector, I'd like to take a walk through the tunnel.
Oh, you won't find a thing, Jim, but come on.
Do you think this will cause the tunnel to be closed for good, Inspector?
I don't know, Fern. That's up to the city council.
This tunnel cost the city $15 million. I'm betting they won't close it.
Well, whether they do or not, I've still got to crack this case, and in short order, too.
Wait. Where's that hammering coming from, Inspector?
Well, that's my men testing every inch of these walls, Jim. If there's a hollow spot, they'll find it.
Good work, Inspector.
Jim, have you got any ideas at all on this thing?
Not yet, Inspector. But there's got to be a joker in this deal somewhere. We'll just play the hand out, and we'll find it.
Yes, I'm Michael Evans. What's your business, Brandon?
Miss Collier and I came to make a few inquiries, Mr. Evans.
Now, get to the point then, Brandon. What do you want?
You were the construction engineer on the Riverfoot Tunnel, weren't you?
Yes. I wish I'd never heard of a blasted thing. I I told them from the beginning that tunnel shouldn't be built, but they wouldn't listen to me.
Well, what were your objections to the tunnel?
Objections? Well, it was a waste of the taxpayers' money, for one thing. We could have built a road around both sides of that mountain for a fraction of what the tunnel cost. What if it does take a motorist a few minutes longer to reach the bridge? Safety's more important.
Inspector White says you received a number of threatening letters during the time the tunnel was under construction.
Yes, I turned them all over to the city council, but they didn't pay any attention. Those politicians...
Mr. Evans, how sound are the walls of the tunnel?
Young man, I'll put my work up against any construction job in the country.
Well, now, I'm not questioning your...
Here are the plans. The mayor told me to hand them over to you. Now, take them and get out. Your questions are an insult to
All
a
right,
man.
Mr. Evans. You want to take that attitude, you're of no help to us. Come on, Fern.
Well, I've met some grumpy old men before, but Mr. Evans takes the prize.
Sometimes grumpiness is employed to hide uneasiness, Fern.
You mean you suspect him, Jim?
I haven't made up my mind about that yet. So far, I'm too busy wondering about something else I saw in that office.
What was that, Jim?
There was a tiny model of a gold smelter on the work table in there.
A gold smelter?
Yes. And I'm wondering what interest a construction engineer in the city could have in a gold smelter. This is the Hartley Steel Mill, Fern. That must be the office over there.
What do you expect to find out here, Jim?
Well, this visit is more or less of a shot in the dark, Fern. You'll notice that this land adjoins the city property on which the tunnel is located.
Oh, yes.
In going through the city records, I discovered that before the tunnel was built, the Hartley Steel Company tried to buy up all that adjoining city property. They didn't succeed, but I'd like to find out why they wanted that land.
That sounds like an interesting angle, Jim.
Oh, here's the office building. Well, I guess we just walk right in.
That you, Joe?
I know, it's Jim Brandon. I've got business with Mr. Hartley.
Oh, there must be some mistake. Mr. Hartley's been dead for 3 years.
I want to see the man in charge, then.
Do you have an appointment?
No, but I think he'll see me. I'm from the police.
Oh, well, come in. I'm Theodore Ramsey, the general manager here.
This is my assistant, Miss Collier.
Sit down, won't you?
Thank you.
I'm sorry to barge in on you this way, Mr. Ramsey, but there are a few questions I'd like to ask.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Brandon. Only I'm a little curious as to why the guard didn't call me from the gate to say you were coming.
I don't think he saw us. We came in the side entrance just as some trucks were pulling out.
I see. Well, go ahead, Brandon.
Some years ago, the Hartley Steel Interest tried to buy the city land adjoining this property. Why?
Well, old Mr. Hartley was living then, and when he heard the city was thinking of building a tunnel under this mountain, he was afraid it might undermine part of our property and endanger our business.
Oh, I see. Any other reason?
Well, frankly, yes. We had always hoped that the city would build a road around this end of the mountain. A great deal of our material is delivered in trucks, and a good road would be to our advantage. Naturally, a tunnel through the mountain would cancel out the road.
And you weren't willing to build the road yourself?
Well, not unless we owned all the land.
Mr. Ramsey, do you own the steel mill now?
Oh, no. I'm just the general manager. Old Hartley's grandson, Lee Burgess, owns it.
Does he take an active part in running the mill?
Well, yes and no. You know how these rich boys are. He has an office over there near the smelting plant. But I don't think he's in it very often.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ramsey. This was just a routine check.
Oh, that's all right. Even though we weren't very keen on the tunnel at first, we're just as much upset as you are as the way things have turned out. Call on me again if I can be of any help.
Well, Inspector, has the council decided whether they're going to open the tunnel or not?
Well, they reached a decision 2 hours ago, Jim. The tunnel is now open to traffic.
I've just come from there.
Inspector, I just can't understand their opening the tunnel until you've had a chance to solve this case.
Fern, the council is inclined to believe that the whole disappearing act was staged as some kind of a hoax, or even a publicity stunt. Maybe they're right, I don't know.
I'll get it, Jim. Hello? Yes, the inspector's here. Sure, hold on a minute, please. Inspector, for you.
Thanks, Fern. Hello? What? Holy smoke. Did you call the tunnel and tell them to stop all the traffic? Good. I'll get out there right away.
What's the matter, Inspector?
They just received a telephone call at headquarters saying disaster would strike the tunnel again at midnight. Come on, Jim.
And now back to the Avenger and the Tunnel of Disaster.
What time is it, Jim?
It's 11:58, Inspector.
Say, look at that car ahead.
Why, it broke right through the gate and went into the tunnel.
All in a fools. Jim, Fern, get out and stand guard here. See that no other cars get past the guard.
Okay, come on, Fern.
Right, Jim.
Where are you going, Inspector?
Into the tunnel.
Inspector! Inspector! You're crazy! You'll never come out of there alive! Come back!
Jim, why do you think it's important to go into the tunnel from the opposite side? We're losing time driving around this mountain.
Fern, every car that has disappeared within that tunnel went in at the north entrance. There's some reason for that, and I've got to find out what it is.
Oh, Jim, I'm afraid we're too late to save the inspector. We lost minutes getting to the place the guard had his car parked.
There's the entrance, Fern. Now hold tight. I'm going to crash right through the gate. Okay, Fern?
Yes, Jim. Oh, the guard is blowing for us to stop.
I'll explain to him later. We haven't a second to lose now. Keep your eyes peeled, Fern. If there's a clue in here, we've got to find it.
Right, Jim. Gosh, this place is frightening.
When we reach the center of the tunnel, we'll stop to see if we can pick up any sound.
There's absolutely no sign of another car in here, Jim.
No. This is the center here. I'll pull up here. Okay. Now, let's listen for a moment. No good. This place is as silent as a tomb.
What now, Jim?
I'll drive along slowly. Keep your eye on the road.
Jim, wait. I just caught sight of something on the side of the road.
What was it, Fern?
No. Something small that seems to be shining. There it is, Jim.
Huh? Oh, it's a pencil. It's the inspector's gold pencil, Fern.
Good heavens. That means he got as far as this spot, Jim.
Yes. And according to my mileage gauge, this is exactly 0.8 of a mile from the north entrance. Come on, Fern. We've got to get back to the laboratory. This is our first real clue.
Here, Jim, I've made some sandwiches for you. You haven't eaten a thing all day.
Oh, thanks, Fern.
How are you making out, Jim?
Well, according to these maps, that spot where we found the inspector's pencil is directly parallel with the Hartley steel mill.
But, Jim, if the tunnel walls are solid, as everyone claims, what connection can the steel mill have with the tunnel?
That's where my other discovery comes in.
Your other discovery?
Yes. According to this early geological history of that tunnel land, small deposits of gold were once discovered there.
Gold?
That could be the motive, Fern.
Jim, if old Mr. Hartley knew about the gold, that could have been his reason for wanting to buy the land.
Right. But old Hartley is dead. Somebody living must know about that gold, Fern. That's the reason they want the tunnel closed.
But who, Jim?
So far, we have 3 possible suspects.
3?
Yes. Merkel Evans, the construction engineer. Hartley's grandson, Lee Burgess. And Ramsey, the manager of the Hartley mill.
I know why you suspect Evans, Jim. But what reasons have you for thinking Burgess and Ramsey may be guilty?
Both of them have the facilities and are in a position to mine the gold.
But, Jim, none of this is what you call solid evidence.
No, it isn't, Fern. But we haven't time to get that. We've got to force the hand of the guilty party.
How, Jim?
I want you to put in a telephone call to all 3 suspects. Tell each of them that Jim Brandon has discovered a hollow section in the tunnel wall, and that a crew of men is going to start digging at once. Then hang up.
Yes. And what are you going to do, Jim?
If there's any connection between the tunnel and the mill, the guilty party will show up at the mill. I'll be waiting for him there as the Avenger.
Oh, so you finally got here, Burgess. I've been waiting here at the gate for 10 minutes.
I came as soon as I could, Evans. I had to call my men here at the mill and tell them to get things set.
All right, then, come on. You haven't any time to lose. What was that noise?
I don't know. There's no one in sight. Say, who do you suppose that girl was who called to warn us?
Oh, now, how should I know? Can't bother about that now. Burgess, have you got enough dynamite to fill in our mine that adjoins the tunnel?
Plenty. Don't worry about that.
The minute I set eyes on that Brandon, I knew he was trouble.
Oh, stop griping, Evans. You knew this was a dangerous game when you came in on it. Anyway, we're not licked yet.
Yes, you can talk like that because you're young, Burgess. But what about me? I was a respectable engineer all my life until I let you talk me into this gold mining business.
I talked you into it. You're ridiculous, Evans. What? And you're yellow to boot.
Oh, listen here, Burgess.
Oh, shut up. Arguing isn't going to get us anywhere. We're both in this thing up to the eyes.
Yes, you're right, I guess. We'll have to keep our heads now. We'll dynamite our mine for 20 yards, right there where it connects with the tunnel. And when the cops break through the tunnel wall, they'll run into nothing but dirt.
Right. And then I'll sue Brandon for everything he owns.
All right, here's the shack. Open the door, Burgess.
All right, get inside.
Lock that door after us. Burgess, how many men have you got down in the mine?
8.
Where are the prisoners?
In a room near the smelter. Say, what are we going to do with those prisoners?
Do with them? Eliminate them. What else?
I don't think I'd be in such a hurry to do that, Evans.
Huh? Who's that? Who's in here?
It's the Avenger. And this is the end of the line for both of you.
Where is he? Get him, Burgess.
How can I fight someone I can't even see?
You might as well give up. The police will be here in a minute.
All right, Burgess, now come on. Let's get out of here while there's still time.
No, we've got to dynamite the mine first. If we don't, they've got the goods on us.
It's too late, I tell you.
It's our only chance.
Unlock the trapdoor, then. Quick.
Okay. Help me move these file cases away from it.
No, you don't, Burgess. You're not going down in that mine.
Oh. You knocked him out.
Stay where you are, Evans, or you'll get the same. The police are here now, Evans, and you'd better deliver those prisoners in good health, or the charge will be murder as well as kidnapping.
Jim, Fern, over here. We're waiting for you.
What are you planning to do down here, Inspector? Deliver your dedication speech for these reporters?
No, Jim. I brought Merkel Evans down here in the tunnel to demonstrate exactly how this swinging wall works.
How do you feel, Inspector?
Fine, Fern, fine. Never better. Okay, Evans. Stop talking.
All right. Now, you'll notice that there's a steel girder every 15 feet here through the center of the tunnel. Well, this section of the wall right here, between these two girders, opens just like a door. The huge hinges are behind the steel girder there on the right.
But where does the door end? There's no trace of a break in the wall.
It ends over there beneath that girder on the left, doesn't it, Evans?
Yes, that's right. Now, that girder is attached to this movable portion of the wall. when the wall swings back into place, and that girder covers up the crack like a piece of weather stripping.
Open it up, Evans. We want to see for ourselves.